All right, Aries, the 17th to the 23rd. Let's get an oracle for you to start, and then I'll look at the energy, the challenge, and then what's showing up in love and life. Aries through Pisces as well. All in the golden afternoon. So you have the number 1, right? This creative spark, imagination, and conception. So we are seeing what resembles an Ace of Wands type of energy, which is your energy. It's like Aries got an idea. Aries is inspired to do something. Aries is feeling something. Aries is desiring something, right? Feeling attracted to something or someone. And this week you could be wanting to start something and just getting that bug, that itch, that fire lit up under your butt, to go and do something. And, just feeling very joyful and creative and romantic. So something of that nature, could be changing the direction that of your life, moving forward. And it could come through friends, community collaborations with people, talking to somebody, and just feeling inspired to try something, or something new is just waking you up. All right, let's see, Tarot. Now, the energy of the week feels like the energy of the week, even though we're going to look at other things. And I see the Temperance card here. So the Temperance card is telling you to keep your life in alignment this week with how other people might be showing up, and I'll pull a card with that, could try, and distract you, or pull you off your mission, and, doing things that don't feel organic or natural to your everyday, is going to be what might get in the way with this Ace of Wands energy. You're wanting to do things that you feel naturally drawn to this week, not to feeling like other people are dictating where your emotions are at, or where you're going physically, or I'm waiting for this person, so before I decide to go do something else. And so you're kind of in this energy of, where in my life am I being distracted or feeling pulled in another direction, and I have to balance the scales, and also a chill kind of energy of going with the flow this week and seeing where the energy pulls you, because this is where the surprises, the spark, and the attraction to someone can happen, is when we least expect it, and we're doing something that we normally do every day. Now, your biggest challenge this week, I am seeing the 5 of Cups. We do have some energy that might get in the way of your motivation. Something someone says might upset you. Can we let it go? Can we let it go for another day? There's too many other good things going on. You may be emotionally tired, or, something could be coming up around your emotions, with Chiron, and around, past stuff that might, inflict some sort of mood. Right? Just be aware that it could be a personal mood. It doesn't mean it's going to stick around. It doesn't mean it has to dictate anything. But you may just feel emotionally tired and just want, to do something totally different that brings passion back into your life, so that we're not mulling over things that we have no control over. So what's showing up in love? I see the Ace of Pentacles. So you are getting something real is beginning. There could be somebody around you that's not just feeling you, but is feeling super attracted to you. You're getting kind of two ace energies, which is showing me tangible energy. The Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles is, I not only want you, I not only want to start something with you physically immediately, but I also am feeling something that is worth building upon, right? So an opportunity here that seems tangible. Now, this can even show up as somebody wanting to just label or title something, or actually get, mention, I want to see you, I want to connect with you in a more romantic way. I'm looking to start something fresh. Now, if you're connecting with somebody and it's happening organically, the Temperance card, and it just feels like Things are kind of chill, but they're moving along. This week, I'll look at Aries through Pisces, and it does show that you may start to feel something real there. Like, there's more than just, talk. There's more than just attraction. There seems to be a new level here that's beginning. Now, in life in general, there's going to be people challenging and testing you, everywhere you go. One minute it might seem like it's a healthy competition. It just feels like people are, all in good energy, good spirits, active, let's get stuff done. And then there's moments where it seems like we're not getting along. Nobody's getting along. Why is my coworkers pissing me off today? Why are my children not listening to me? Why is everybody dependent on me to fix everything? Why is it that nobody seems to have, everybody's heads are up their asses, that kind of energy in life. But, you're tackling things, and it seems like, sometimes you just got to push through and pick your battles. How are other people showing up in general? And I see the Knight of Pentacles. A lot of people are very cautious and focused right now in their own lives, right? Very disciplined, stuck in their routine and doing their thing. So you are seeing one reliable. The people that are around you right now, they're showing up exactly the way they've been showing up yesterday, last week, the day before. And that's a good thing for some of you, because it's like nothing's changed. So don't worry. Even if there's a problem, nothing's changed, right? We're still dealing with the same, tackling the same BS, right? But you can see that people can be very judgy, all right, and watching and paying attention to things that doesn't really matter. Some things that might not even be on your radar. You're like, that's just too much, right? But you can see people stuck in their ways, working really hard, and everything is about duty and service and work and what I have to get done. So this could be where you're challenged the most, is that you just feel like people are picky, perfectionist, judgmental, critical, but also you're seeing people are willing to put the fight in, willing to work with you. And you may see the same people every day, just kind of trying to muster through life. Your advice for the week is the 10 of Cups. Choose people that feel good around you, right? Choose people that you're actually building something with to worry about, or to keep in your energy. Protect your family, protect your home, focus on your future, focus on bringing things together and being around people, again, that are not causing so much grief for you this week. Now, Aries through Pisces. Let's see. We have a fresh start energy. Let's see what's going on with Aries. See the Magician card. All right. So there is a mutual attraction with you and another Aries. You're on their minds, and it does look like they're thinking about something real. Let's pursue something that, or you're just not imagining it. You both are feeling something good, and there's something between the two of you that seems that we can build upon. And even if it looks like early stages of something, so it could be a return, could be, we're attracted to each other, and there's something here. Now, Taurus may feel like they owe you an apology of some sort, or they are just really, something's weighing on them, and you may hear from them. They may be feeling a little guilty about something they said or didn't do. But we do see that there is something coming in, an opportunity to disclose some information, or to get something off their chest. Gemini is clear on their intentions with you. It looks like they do want to start something with you, and things may seem better than before with their return. Cancer, also planning for the future. They have hope that you guys will figure things out. You guys will get together. Leo, it looks like Leo's finally making that decision this week. They feel something real. It's not just talk. And maybe now finally making a choice to step forward. Virgo has the Ace of Wands. So this could be a new potential in your life as well. But it's like, I want you. I want to start something here. I'm very interested in you. And Libra, so watch out for judgment with Libra. We both could be judging based off of facts that are no longer valid to now. But also, we do have to judge some situations based off of facts that happened in the past. If we are given something a second chance with a Libra, can we look at things honestly? Have things change? Will things change? Or can we let go of the past, and are we able to move forward and find forgiveness? Scorpio. there could be an argument. There could be a sense of instability with a Scorpio this week. But the good news is whatever fight, whatever challenge, whatever test you're going through with a Scorpio is going to bring forth the truth of the situation. Sagittarius, we're seeing you both really feel attracted to each other. There is sexual tension between the two of you and playfulness. So they may show up very fun, romantic, playful. Capricorn also wanting to make plans with you. Maybe there's a lot of distractions, but they're still focused on getting together. Aquarius, nothing's changing with an Aquarius. So wherever you're at, it's still there. And if you feel, kind of confused or stuck, you just got to let go. At this point, it's a temporary pause and there's no direction yet. Pisces, 4 Cups, it looks like they're down, a little bit upset about, something from the past, kind of thinking, reminiscing over the past. They don't know what to do yet, right? So you may find that they're feeling something real with you and contemplating whether or not you guys should pursue this. I love you guys. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, August 17th to the 23rd. Let's get an oracle for the week and then the energy. Nonsense. It's time to talk sense, all right? This card always tells me about old roles that we play, the voices in our head, the guilt that we carry because other people put expectations on us. We have a hat we wear for other people. People say things, we believe them through our life. And it's time to talk sense and tap into your new role. All right. So I am seeing like some identity that you may carry, something that still kind of tries to steal your thunder, a voice in your head that's no longer your belief, or something that you need to worry about. You're shifting. Other things may be more important this week, and you may actually notice that other people's demands or other people's thoughts or things that you think you should do or have to do don't apply to your life anymore. You're a new version of yourself, and you have other things coming in for you that need your attention. So be mindful of negative self-talk, being tired this week, mental fatigue, unnecessary worry that can give yourself mixed messages. And, self-doubt is a bitch, right? It steals our thunder. All right, I have the Strength card coming in for you at the bottom of the deck. And you got, see your strength. I just see you've got to see your strength, or just trust yourself, even if you don't see your strength this week. This is where you have earned your stripes. This is where you're resilient, you're brave, you have courage, you can do so much for others, but do you have to? This is where sometimes the Strength card is a boundary, and sticking to a boundary and being okay with saying no, or just sorry, those days are over. I'm in a different part of my life, and I know I could, or maybe I'm strong enough to do things, but I just have to trust my body right now, because maybe something is happening with you where you need to spend more time on your own physical health, well-being. We're not getting any younger. All right, so the energy this week is showing up as a Page of Cups, right? And so there could be children around you, or somebody that's wanting something from you, or needing your attention. Sometimes that can be a need for attention, but I am seeing a very loving energy. This is emotional messages this week, so it's a window showing that maybe there's conversation that needs to be had this week, and we can kind of find a way to communicate what we need, by being a little bit more softer, more gentle with some people, and more gentle with yourself. And if people are not honoring where you're at emotionally as well, this is also where challenges or boundaries may show up. But the energy of the week is a very loving, new energy, so there could be new love coming in as well, or a new level in your relationships where we're starting to have a deeper understanding of one another. Your biggest challenge this week could be the Fool card. All right. And this is where you may doubt yourself, a new opportunity coming your way, or a new way of handling a situation. It may feel, reckless to someone else because you say no, or mean or harmful, or you're choosing to go your own direction for a little bit because, it's something you're feeling called to. Maybe there is a career opportunity. Maybe there is a love opportunity this week. We can see that right here. But avoid assumptions that hold you back, and also negative self-talk that makes you feel like you're not capable of doing something and losing faith in yourself. Now, in love, I'm seeing Nine of Pentacles. You may be very self-sufficient. You may find yourself in situations where most people need you, right? They're always, maybe even taking you for granted. You have a very reliable, genuine, self-efficient type of energy here. You get things done. You can take care of yourself. You can take care of others. But oftentimes, and you don't need a lot from others when you're in this energy, right? You like it, but you don't need it. And you've set yourself up for that way, right? But at the same time, there may be, just because you can handle things or take care of things, you still do need, people to hold space for you. And you can't always be the one that everybody comes to, that, that they rely on you to make the plans, to do the things, to take care of the business. Now, some of you could also be dealing with somebody who is that way, and maybe you're feeling like you're not that way. Somebody enjoys your attention, enjoys your hard work in the relationship, but they also enjoy their own independence and they don't need a relationship. So I'll look at Aries through Pisces and I'll see what's going on here. But there could be, it feels like somebody's not attending to my needs or avoiding, but they might just be afraid to lose their independency. Now, in life, I'm seeing the Hierophant, which is also telling me that, you want realness, you want people who commit. You're very committed. You could be leveling up in your career. Some of you could be thinking about going back to school. But you have commitments and you follow through. And so whatever commitments you have right now, I can see you following through this week, even leveling up as well, like I said. So there could be a position change for some of you. But you look very dedicated, and in life in general, it's like your hard work always pays off. And that's your energy too. I mean, the Taurus energy, commitment to whatever it is you're doing is going to get you the abundance that you're seeking. How are other people showing up? I see the Hanged Man. It's like some people just don't know which direction they're going in, right? And it just seems like they just hang around and they don't, they may rely on you a lot more, or it feels like you just don't know which direction the situation's going in, and you kind of just hang in there. People seem a little aloof. Well, that's what's happening, kind of. It's maybe some people around you are just not knowing what to do. They may be quiet this week or withdraw, because they don't know the direction they're going in. But if their silence is really affecting you or affecting your plans, remember your inner world, your negative self-talk could really get you kind of making assumptions. And there just seems to be people are just kind of hanging around and don't know which direction they're going in. So you got to take care of you and not let your mental fatigue or self-doubt automatically assume that somebody is not interested, right? Because you have these two cards here when it comes to love, and it's like somebody just is, probably not sure, where relationship and commitment is in their life. But it doesn't mean they don't have it labeled yet, but it doesn't mean they don't want it, right? And also there's some change that's happening to the people around you. A lot of people feeling stuck, nothing fits. The old life doesn't fit, but the new life hasn't shown itself yet. So people really confused in some areas of their life. Your advice, take it slow and test the waters here. This week could be a good week for you to be getting things done around the house, building something, starting a new project, learning something new, feeling things out, taking it slow, listening to your body, and keeping communication simple when it comes to the Page of Pentacles. It's like giving things room to grow and not asking maybe all the complicated questions, but not mind reading either. It's like it's asking to keep things simple, especially if people are pulling away a little bit or somebody's confused. There's no need to assume the worst. We just kind of take it slow and feel things out and let the truth show up. So let's look at Aries through Pisces. So I can see some distance here, maybe for some of you. Aries, there's the distance. They're still in your field. They're still in your energy. And they're just kind of hanging back, trying to observe and figure things out. You may get a little bit of silence, but it looks more like solitude for an Aries. I just need to focus on things right now, not on relationships or other people. And the same goes for you. Now, Taurus, I see the Four of Swords. So it's like rest, relaxation, give yourself the breaks you need. If people are fatiguing you, if conversations seem incomplete, or, there's just all this worry, like you are being asked to just kind of, get some rest and let people figure out their shit and not take on other people's problems. There could be some silence between you and a Taurus, but it's only temporary. And same thing with a Gemini. It looks like they're dealing with some, not feeling good themselves or feeling down with their own problems. And it could be bleeding into your relationship. It's like we're expecting a problem because there is a problem going on in their life. And it may come across as there's a problem in the relationship. You may feel like your Gemini is pushing you away. And we have Cancer, Eight of Pentacles. It may seem like Cancer is distracted this week. They're doing their thing, working on themselves, working on their work, working on whatever is right in front of their face, not really paying attention to what's going on around them. They could be committed to certain projects or a schedule that is taking their time this week. Leo is feeling fatigued and worn out. So be mindful that there could be tension in conversation this week. There could feel distraction. You could feel overwhelmed, or you're feeling as though, everything that is said kind of ends up in kind of a testy or a fight or an argument, because you have a Leo here that's really worn out just from it all. Virgo still intends to make plans for the future here. You could be finding yourself, talking to each other privately about future plans. Really, like, maybe things are slow at the moment, slowing down in the relationship, but, we're starting to kick it into routine gear, which means that things are settling in and the relationship may start to form and become more comfortable. Libra, I see a conversation. It looks like you guys this week could be sharing a conversation, feeling kind of on the same page, really feeling heard, or having a conversation about needing to feel heard. But you could resolve conflict. Your relationship is still growing. Scorpio is got, they have love for you. They're kind of doing their thing right now. It looks like Scorpio could be doing some of their own emotional healing. I need some time to really figure things out. Sometimes they just seem a little quieter when they're like this, but they're still in your energy. Sagittarius is definitely feeling intense this week. So there's some very much blunt conversation coming in with a Sagittarius. There's nothing gentle about this Knight of Swords. They're just kind of quick, get to the point. I'm not here to play games. So, but be mindful, this can also be triggering too if things are said that trigger sensitivities. That's Scorpio, Sag. Capricorn, well, I see they're changing. So something is ending with a Capricorn. Maybe it's time to move on from a situation or let it resolve itself. You know, if we're trying to relive the past or bring up the past with a Capricorn, it's just not going to work. And the Hanged Man is, you know, Capricorn's going through some process of letting go, and needing to let go of a situation or a fight or an argument or something, before you guys have the ability to kind of rebuild or change. Aquarius, Knight of Pentacles. So Aquarius showing up slow and steady this week. Nothing really changing with an Aquarius, but it's still slow and steady. And Pisces, I see communication. You know, you both feel a pull. You both feel the love with each other, but you know, maybe there's other things going on that's getting in the way of, you know, where things are going just yet. But there's a relationship that's worth exploring, and you both feel it. I love you guys. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. All right, the week of August 17th through the 23rd. It's always tea time. All right, repetition. Oh, this will get to a Gemini in a heartbeat. Where in your life does it seem like it's just repeating the same thing over and over? Glitch in the matrix, you know, endless moments. Where are you keeping yourself? Gemini, what are you doing? I know it's like that shit make you, like, you know, every day monotonous stuff. People, you got to remove some of that. You got to remove some of that noise. You know, if something's taken an eternity, if it just feels like, you know, we're going around in circles, and you know, or even in your head, you keep going around in circles about a situation, it might be time to bust out of this routine. Let's take a look at the energy for the week. And I got the right thumbnail. And then your biggest challenge. All right, well, this card was flipped over. Oh, you got the Star. We're talking about what plans do you have for the future? You know, what's happening here? I do see a King of Pentacles in your energy, so there could be an earthy sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But this is also about your comfort. You know, it's like dreaming of better days, but you're being asked to change it now. You know, you want the big stuff, you want the good stuff, you want somebody maybe mature who has the big stuff, right? And you have a lot of goals here. You got to go after it, right? And so, you know, repeating the same old shit or the same old story too is not going to get you there. This week, Ace of Swords. It seems like you're being asked to finally make some sort of decision about a situation and go for it. What's your biggest challenge? Knight of Pentacles. All right, procrastination. You know, and this is, you know, the biggest challenge too is you're exhausted. Sometimes life just gets to you. Boredom, though, is worse. The biggest challenge is boredom. The biggest challenge is speed. The biggest challenge is, you know, finding busy work, or just to make yourself feel alive or feel better, right? Or just do routine things just to feel like you belong. You know, and it's like that's, you know, I can feel that deeply. It's like, you know, I have to have a routine just so I can feel like, you know, certain things there's a reason behind it, or there's a purpose, but is there? So it looks like you could be battling routine this week, big time. And being mindful not to overwork or overspend or overdo or overclean or overorganize, or do things that are really not getting you anywhere, but they're making you feel like they are. and being mindful of procrastination when the signs are shown it's time to clearly do something different or go. There could be an opportunity around work this week. Now in love, I'm seeing a different tune. I'm seeing flirting, messages, dates, you know, chemistry. Maybe somebody will test you with this energy this week. You know, is a friend situation going to be something a little bit more? Are we just flirting, but, you know, there's no grounding in the relationship? You know, we keep talking and texting and eyeballing each other, but we don't do anything about it. That's also where, you know, endless, you know, repetition. It's like, you know, the bus isn't going to stay parked for very long. It's time to move on. You know, there's a lot of chances here for playfulness with people this week and connecting with somebody socially or doing something fun and having fun attracting people to you. All right. Now in life, I'm seeing the Tower card. So it looks like there is something that is going to be changing your course of your life. Right. Now the Tower card can happen in any different areas of your life, but it's something that you're building something that's not stable. And if you're committed to a routine and you're needing change, if you don't make the change, you're eventually going to lose your shit. Right. Now, this can be internal, like you're just not feeling comfortable with how steady things are in your life. It doesn't feel like everything's holding itself together all the time. You know, you can't seem to relax your nervous system because, you know, something, you don't know what's coming around, you don't know what's coming up. And so it does feel like you're being asked to take some control of some areas of your life, where rather than just waiting for something to show up, it's about taking initiative to make the change that needs to happen and make you feel more stable in life. And so let's see how other people are showing up. 6 of Wands. So you got a lot of people showing up for you, wanting attention, feeling good, feeling like everything's fine. They're pretty happy and confident with the way things are standing between the two of you. You know, they like the attention. They may even admire you. You may have a lot of people around you. But the thing about this energy is, yeah, it sounds fun and it sounds great until, you know, it just doesn't change, right? You know, you've had wins with somebody or people seem to be pretty confident and a good energy, but, you know, are we going to take the next step? Are we going to change our status? Are we going to define our relationship? You know, are you superficial? So this week you could also be, you know, paying attention not to give your energy continuously to people that are just seasonal, you know, superficial. They're not long term, you know, because this week there could be clarity, you know, a message, an invitation, a connection to make a plan that involves somebody that may be more than a season. But if we're playing around with seasonal people, we're holding ourselves back, especially if you're in this energy where you feel like it's repeating itself, it's getting boring, nothing's changing. Your advice, the 3 of Pentacles this week, sharing the wealth, sharing the energy, sharing the responsibilities with other people. You know, you may need to help out. Other people may help out. There could be somebody that's willing to connect with you. This could be counseling, professional help if you need it, especially in life. If you're moving and you need a realtor or you need financial assistance or internally, emotionally, you feel like you're going to lose your shit. This week would be a good week to talk to somebody, get clear on your direction, and have people around you who are supportive of you, not stealing your energy. So let's take a look at love, Aries through Pisces. Now we are seeing flirtiness happen here, but let's see if anything's going anywhere. Aries, well, Aries, you may be flirting with an Aries, but you know, the Hermit, they like to keep themselves distant. So they could go ghost or constantly still show up when they're wanting to have fun and then disappear. Taurus, we have inconsistency with Taurus too, but we do see they're wanting to step up, you know, so the attraction is real. Something is real there. Maybe they'll be more consistent with you this week. Gemini, Queen of Wands. So this is having confidence in yourself and you initiate in this week. So you're getting the go. You're getting the put on the confidence and take action. Now another Gemini could initiate with you this week. Cancer, feeling the love, feeling attracted to you, thinking about you. And so this week they may actually act on their thoughts. Leo kind of all over the place here, but pretty direct this week. It seems like getting some sort of communication with them that seems straightforward. Virgo still being chill, just kind of minding their business, doing their thing. Maybe they want things to move slow down. Libra wanting to see you, still thinking about the last time they saw you. Feeling connected with you, loves being around you. So you may be talking or just getting closer with a Libra. Scorpio's got a lot going on, but you're still part of the plan. They just need you to be a little bit more flexible with them. Sagittarius is kind of looking at the situation, wondering if this is seasonal or is this something that can be long-term. Capricorn getting ready to build something. They're on a mission. So this week you may finally initiate movement in your relationship. Aquarius is falling for you. So it looks like, talking this week, maybe getting those messages you've been waiting for. And Pisces, King of Swords. So Pisces making a clear decision this week on the direction they want to go. And so it looks like they are showing up as a king. So that's a good start. All right. I love you guys. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. Let's get an oracle for the week of August 17th through 23rd. And then I'll do the energy and the check on love and life. You have It's Always Tea Time too. That came out for Gemini. And endless moments, waiting, constant, repeating patterns over and over and over. What are you doing? That seems like something that you've already done before. And why are you doing it again? It's like unnecessary worry or keeping yourself stuck, spinning in a cycle that is just uncomfortable and you've been here before. All right, so what can we do when we're feeling? It's always a feeling. It doesn't mean that the situation has to change, but the way we're thinking about it or going about it or worrying about something, it's pointless, right? And if we're watching the clock, it could seem like eternity for something to happen. And the lesson could be doing something to distract yourself, doing something else. Or what would you be doing if the situation wasn't distracting you? What is it stealing you away from? And it's like how many things are, and this could be about life too. Maybe you're feeling, things are monotonous in your life and nothing's changing, nothing's getting anywhere. And so you may have to make drastic change when it comes to something in your life, why are you keeping yourself in a situation that just feels endless? It feels boring. It feels like it's enabling. It's not getting me anywhere. That's making me feel, more comfortable or better or challenging me. Now I have the Seven of Swords here at the bottom of the deck for you. And, this can be denial in this energy, trying to deny what's really happening. Maybe you're keeping yourself back or you feel like something is making you keep yourself back, right? You might be trying to test something. You might be wanting something to change. You might be waiting for something to change, but at the same time, you could be sacrificing the quality of you and in your life. And it feels as though you can't always say or do what you really want to. And so that can build anger and resentment beneath the surface. Now, the energy of the week is Judgment. So a clear decision, reevaluating, looking at the whole picture, the whole situation, whatever this is that's repeating itself, looking at it honestly, and it's reckoning. It's being able to reckon with some energy that keeps repeating itself. And if the Judgment card is showing up, it's saying there's something that you've been through from the past, and it's time to go on a different path. It's time to look at something or decide to look at something differently. If something is meant to be there for you, it will be there. But this might be the time where you hear the call and you follow your calling. You move, you go, you do something, and don't miss the opportunity. Maybe some of you pondering on feeling like you missed your calling, and this is an opportunity for you to challenge yourself to go after it this week. Now, your biggest challenge here seems to be, emotional loss, feeling down, feeling blue, feeling unhappy, a fear of abandonment if you leave a situation, or a fear of a situation repeating itself, and you being abandoned again. So it does look like fear, judgment, emotional tiredness, and feeling at a loss because I'm disappointed because a lot of things haven't worked out in the past. So because a lot of things haven't worked out in the past, I'm judging the current situation, or I'm afraid to make a decision in a new direction because it's only going to do the same thing. So this could just be a moodiness or a fear based on being let down, or fear that you're going to be let down. Now in love, I am seeing love as something cracking open, something starting fresh. A new love could be showing up. I'll look at Aries through Pisces, but this could be an offer. Maybe somebody hasn't felt a certain way with you and they're feeling it now. And so this is something new. And so it's going to be hard. Your challenge is going to be not to judge a situation because something is at the beginning of its stage, right? Which means it's new. Somebody's releasing their guard, letting down their guard. But there could be a lot of fear, emotional fear and worry that's happening this week due to this. Now, the Ace of Cups too can be a reconciliation or resolving conflict. And I am seeing forgiveness here. Maybe some of you this week, this is where you're missing somebody and there's an opportunity here for somebody here to reconcile with you. In life, I'm seeing the Lovers. It seems like the love department really has your main focus right now. It just feels like you put the 2 and 2 together. Love and life, they go hand in hand. But are you following your calling when it comes to life as well? Because I am feeling a calling coming in here for you. Like something, like maybe you're making a choice, or you made a choice to play it safe, but life is just repeating itself, and now you're ready for something that's a little bit more in alignment with who you are now. Well, you may need to kind of take a look at your situation and see where you're being called, because your life could be changing. Now, a love situation could also change the direction of your life as well. This could be a week of that too, where somebody's showing up and it changes, everything when it comes to your life. Now, how are other people showing up this week? I am getting the Sun card. So it looks like genuinely people are happy to be around you. They want to be seen with you. They may express themselves, say it to you. Really good times, happy times. And, complications just seem like they may be hard in this energy, resolving complications. With the Sun and the Judgment, we do see a resurrection risen and something looking really optimistic for you this week. Now, your advice, the 10 of Cups, focusing on people who care about you, focusing on home stuff, so getting facts and understanding before you let your emotions get the best of you this week with that 5 of Cups. You can grieve something that is imagined. You imagine a certain situation to turn out some way and it doesn't, but nothing happened though in reality, but we still feel grief over something that never even happened. It only happened in our mind. And so you are being asked to focus on facts and reality and focus on home and family and grounding in. and maybe taking care of home stuff, career stuff as well, especially if you feel like you don't have control over, your life. This is saying focus on your future. What do you need to change today that could bring a better future for you? Now, Aries through Pisces, we get Ace of Cups. Aries, you have an Aries feeling pulled towards you, so there's a return or there's a destined connection that you both are feeling this week. So we're seeing movement and change with an Aries. Taurus may be going on their own. It just might be better that way. Maybe they need time to self-reflect, figure out what they really want. Gemini, you could hear from a Gemini this week. It may not be the best or the perfect conversation, but it does look like we're trying to understand each other. We're trying to connect. Cancer, Page of Wands. So we are seeing some fun, flirting, hanging out and connecting, maybe doing something completely different out of the norm with another Cancer. Leo, there's, hanging out, their energies here. They're kind of stubborn. It's all about them right now, but it does feel like they want to connect with you. They are attracted to you. Virgo, things could be ending with a Virgo, or a situation could be ending with a Virgo. And you already know it. Libra, you and Libra attached to each other, definitely feeling connected, and this desire to be with one another. There's going to be challenges. The devil is going to bring challenges. Scorpio, kind of minding their business, doing their thing. Maybe they're not ready to express their feelings yet. There's feelings, but it doesn't always mean that they, I know what to do with them. I know, do I want to take the next step? Do I want to discuss them? Sagittarius, King of Swords. So you are getting somebody who's analyzing and deciding what they think about you and what they want to do next. And once the King of Swords makes that decision, game on. Capricorn, Ace of Wands. So things could get spicy this week with a Capricorn. Looks like they want to initiate movement in the relationship. Aquarius, wanting to see you, wanting to be around you, wanting others to see them with you. They really are proud of this connection. Sag, Capricorn. Pisces, the World card. So things coming together, conclusion with the Pisces. So we either end the cycle, or we're ready to move to a new chapter together, or we're closing the cycle for good. I love you guys. Take care. Happy birthday, Leo. This is for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, August 17th to the 23rd. Let's get a message, oracle for the week, and then I'll tap into the energy and what's happening in love, plus with Aries through Pisces. So you have this really nice card, nature, communication. And so, the surface, it says, maybe get outside and go collect yourself, go hug a tree. Right? Maybe it's time to just hug a tree. People, it's been hard to people, have fairy energies. Some of you maybe connect into the fairies, or you just connect better and you can think better when you're outside amongst nature, the animals. Now, this is also elemental messengers, which means there could be signs and synchronicities this week through animals. I have a lot of ducks that are showing up in the backyard, and they found out I have food, so they come to me and I feed them now. But I don't know. I'm gonna look up some ducks and see what ducks has to tell me. It's like that they are bringing you messages, and follow the white rabbit this week. If you're curious about something, or you just feel like beating to your own drum this week and doing something totally different. I feel like you're getting the go to not apologize and just take this break that you may need. It is your birthday season. You're going through a renewal period and a reset, basically. Now, the Five of Pentacles just showed up. I mean, it just kind of popped out of, the deck. And so I'm going to put it here too, as sort of, maybe you are feeling a little bit run down. you know, you've been working, you feel maybe excluded in some other things that are going on, if other things are occupying you, and you just feel like everybody else is doing something else and you're not being thought of, or you're excluding yourself because you are worn down. But I'm also getting to, you know, this could be, you know, respectfully exclude yourself from situations that are wearing you down. Giving yourself a little bit of love this week. There is romance here at the bottom of the deck, so this is still a good time for my Leos to really be connecting, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable and open to people. Again, unapologetically, letting people see your real heart, and what you need, especially if you don't feel like you're getting your needs met, or you're not expressing, or you can't figure out how to express what exactly it is that you want or need from a situation. Now, the energy of the week, I am seeing the Emperor card. So it looks like you're in go mode all the time, trying to keep stability, trying to build stability, feel like you've got to run the show. If you're not in charge, if you're not doing things, it's not going to get done. And that's great. That's good. Good energy. It's like initiate, get the shit done if you got the energy to do it. But you can see that, you know, you might be letting the rest of the world pass you by, if you're not giving yourself grace periods to, you know, to do other things. And this is also showing, this grumpy face of his says, I'm accomplished. It says, I'm getting shit done, but are you happy? You know, and again, this is where your performance is going to pay off, giving yourself a little bit of grace and not needing everything to be on time or everything to fall into place according to your plans. Because when you're on a mission in the Emperor energy, everybody and everything most likely will feel like they get in your way, or they're not putting enough effort in, or, you know, you're just feeling worn down with the Five of Pentacles energy, because you can only carry so much on your own. And we do have to lean back and, you know, make peace with not always having to be in charge or on top of things. Possible challenge for you this week is losing sleep. I feel like yours is basic. It's just like, you know, you're going to find yourself stressing about uncertainties, you know, about anything going on in your life, maybe even direction, maybe even questioning your career, especially with the Emperor here. You know, it's like you can't solve everything in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. So I am getting rest before deciding, you know, that all this confusion means something has to be done, because working in this energy, or even communicating with the lover in this energy, is you're going to get back what you put in. And the Five of Pentacles can be where that problem is coming from. If you're always coming from this, you know, something's wrong energy, or something needs to be fixed, another person is going to withdraw from that energy, thinking that they're causing a problem, right? Or that they don't know how to solve the problem. So it's better to avoid it. So what's showing up in love? And I'm seeing the Five of Wands. So we are seeing some conflict and testing, and you know, just agitation, like do something already, you know, and you have all this energy, and if you're not getting what you want in a love situation, it's just going to test you more and piss you off. And the Emperor and the Five of Wands, it's like the bull seeing the red flag. You know, you say, it's like, I'm gonna go after, I can't handle this agitation. So people could piss you off, your partner could piss you off. I'll look at Aries through Pisces, right? And, you know, what can happen is we can either use this energy to aggravate each other, or keep doing something and getting the same result, or we can try and figure out another way around this problem. And sometimes it is just, you know, taking a little bit of a break from somebody because the point isn't getting across. Now, Five of Wands also shows that in your love area of your life, that your energy is, and your person's energy right now, maybe being tested against other things, a lot of pressure on both of you, a lot of external noise, you know, kind of aggravating both of you, can bleed into your relationship. Some things, some arguments and conflict is worth fighting for and will lead to some sort of change, but some will lead to a worst case scenario. And we'll see that with the Aries through Pisces. Now in life, I'm seeing 3 of Pentacles, and you got it going on, but you got to ask for support when you need it. You really have to work with the team players that are showing up for you. Put them to work. Put people to work. You don't have to do it all. Delegate with the Emperor energy. You have strong Aries energy. Have the confidence to let other people help you and do their part, not try and take on everything yourself. All right. You want to be the champ all the time. This can be financial advice, career advice, counseling, therapy, anything that needs your support, your attention right now in life. But you can see all the pieces that come in together, and you're in these stages where you're working, you're showing up, you're doing it, you're getting it done. It's just one step at a time. And maybe you're working towards something bigger right now. And it's showing here that you're just kind of, you're making it work, but also pay attention to what other people are saying and doing, because other people may have good advice for you right now, and learning to accept advice from others, with that Emperor energy. So how are others showing up for you in general? And, I see the High Priestess, and the High Priestess can be withholding or discerning, and, kind of in this period of, I guess, incubating, right? Or I was thinking of another gestation, whatever. Right? It just feels like I need some quiet time. I need to back up again here and process my feelings. So you may feel like some people are pulling away in a sense, and it can be very triggering. When people pull away from other people, it triggers the fears in other people. And then the person who's genuinely pulling away just to kind of process feels guilty, like they have done something wrong just for needing space, but then feels, I don't know what to do because it's aggravating you or triggering you, if you're fearful. So be mindful that some people could end up being a little bit quiet this week, but they're processing something in their own life, and it's not a direct reflection of how they're feeling for you. So if you do feel like somebody's keeping you at a distance, practice seeing it as you're the good guy, not the bad guy, right? Well, so why are you the problem? Stop always thinking you're the problem, if that's the case. Now, your advice is the 2 of Wands, and you're getting ready to, or you're positioning yourself right now for an advance, right? Or getting ready to see a new opportunity coming your way. Maybe you've already felt it, it's there, and you're just anticipating what's next. And, again, maybe this is where you may need the support from other people, connecting, but this is all about you. This is about what you want, and where you're at now, and looking at the reality of where you're at now, and what can you actually do today that will really help, rather than trying to take it all on yourself and carry the burdens, right? So 2 of Wands is telling me you're about to shift in a new direction, and this is an energy of relaxing before you jump too quickly. Now let's look at Aries through Pisces. Now I do see the friction. Aries, 6 of Swords. So it looks like you and Aries will recover pretty quickly. You guys are transitioning, learning, fighting over something. Maybe you squabble over a few things, but maybe you guys challenge each other, and now it's time to move on from a situation and move forward. Let that go. Taurus, it's there, the love. Taurus is feeling a certain way. Maybe they're triggered, or friction is happening, or they're fighting their feelings. But I do see, they're thinking about you. You're in their heart, and there could be an offer this week from a Taurus. Gemini, we have the moon energy, and we're looking at things look kind of, just move carefully right now with a Gemini. Because things are uncertain, it's easy to project with the moon card and come up with distorted reasonings about things, or distorted stories. So there's still not enough information with your Gemini for you to come to a complete assumption. Cancer. you know, it's time to integrate, time to allow, you know, whatever's happening to happen. Wherever you're at in your relationship, if you just had a win, let it be, let it sit. Don't immediately look for the next win. That's the Two of Wands too. You know, if you guys just got together, let it pace itself, let it integrate. Right, things are coming together now. For some of you, if it just ended, right, let it end for a second before you start questioning everything. Give it a little bit of space before we decide what's next, right? Do I reach back out? But you got to give it some time during that uncomfortable feeling, those times. Leo, you have the Queen of Pentacles, very responsible, can be edgy. You know, you take on a lot and you need things to work out and be practical. But I am seeing here, even with the Queen of Pentacles, is all about nature. She needs to refuel. You and another Leo, though, you kind of remember, you guys kind of mirror each other in ways, but it looks like maybe we're defining something. Maybe this is the week where we start to have a talk and define where this is going. Same thing with a Virgo. You know, you have the Knight of Pentacles, and, you know, maybe they're going to finally execute and follow through with the plans that they have been saying they're going to do. It does look like you guys are making progress. Libra, you know, we're seeing the Empress card, and we're seeing, you know, things cultivating things. You know, it's a replenishing energy too with the Libra. Maybe they're taking care of themselves. Maybe they're trying to, you know, just allow life to be for a minute, but they feel this care, this tenderness with you, and they are attracted to you. Scorpio, you know, was seeing Page of Pentacles, keeping things super simple, but applying themselves and maybe messaging you and just trying to test the waters. Sagittarius, Six of Wands. All right, so they really want this. I mean, they see you, and, you know, this week could be where Sagittarius is, you know, deciding to take on the role of a partner, or, you know, wanting more of your attention, maybe letting you know that they really do want this. Capricorn, you know, there's some pain here. Something happened that really got to them. You know, maybe it's like you're going through a separation, but if it's too soon and you're explaining yourself, it's too soon. The wound's fresh with the Capricorn. So they may need some more time to process that. High Priestess, processing their feelings and what they really want to do. Aquarius, all right, they're all about hanging out. Aquarius can see you guys really getting together. You know, they may invite you somewhere, wanting to have a good time with you, or just socializing this week. And Pisces. All right, so I see this as strategizing. All right, Pisces really trying to be smart about what they decide to do. You know, they're going to think before they really do make a decision. So there could be some quiet or aloofness with the Pisces this week. I love you guys. Take care. Happy birthday. Hello, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. Let's look at August 17th to the 23rd. Let's just get an oracle message for you for the week, then the energy, and then look at love and life. Belonging to your own dream, create your own life. 32. So this is Leo kind of got, and I guess this fell on my lap. Becoming braver, resilience, and experience. I want to take this too. So Leo kind of got this energy of going into the wilderness, and kind of this week maybe a chance to just see things differently by disconnecting. And belonging to your own dream, becoming the center of your dream. This card here kind of looks as though you got to create what you really want, but you have to have a vision first. And if some of you don't know what that vision is, and you're just kind of aimlessly just waiting for life to happen in hopes that you can figure it out as you go. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't, but it looks like maybe you are being called to give yourself a break, or kind of step back a minute and retreat, so that you can take a look at where you're at now, and are you in alignment with what your dreams are currently, or where you're at? Have you changed, right? Maybe you're going after something that doesn't fit anymore, or you're going after what you thought you should be going after, but it never was in alignment to begin with. And or you just kind of let life, it's a hit or miss. You just kind of let life happen. And then I see becoming braver, being able to take a look at your situation and say, you know what, I want this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it regardless. And it's going to be my dream, and it's going to be something that I'm working on, maybe behind the scenes, and I don't even have to let the world know. I am seeing, fresh perspective, being able to see how you have the resilience with everything that you've gone through to be able to take these steps and do this and try something new. So let's take a look at the energy of the week. The challenge, cards are flying today. Justice, maybe some justice will come through this week. This just threw, itself in my face. And so rectifying something, somebody being held accountable, maybe something around legal advice, paying your taxes, or, this is a week where you may get a refund, or you might get something fixed that was broken that you didn't even know, a recall. But we do see justice maybe coming through. Now, if this is a personal justice, this is letting go of any kind of injustices that might be, finding the forgiveness somehow, within yourself, so it doesn't hold you back, right? Doesn't mean you have to forgive other people. You just kind of got to make peace with something so that you can move forward. Now, this is also an energy too of, balance, maybe something coming in that balances your checkbook, some extra wins, some extra money that, you've worked maybe hard for it, and now it's coming in, and it might bring in a way for you to balance your accounts. So the Justice card, and we have the Two of Wands here at the bottom of the deck. So seeing that you might, maybe things are looking brighter for you this week, and you're actually starting to see or look out there, kind of scan to see for other possibilities, other options. Another position may be showing up, or even a different plot line for yourself, sick of the same story, sick of the same, every morning I wake up and it's this, it's that, I do this, I do that, I talk to this person, this problem's going on, and those problems will still be there, or those people will still be there, but this is an opportunity for you to start planning for something different and putting yourself in a different position to, your dream might take small steps at first, that can be difficult, but once you get in the motion of it, things are going to start to really form for you. So planning for a new future this week, or planning for some travel. Your energy is one of discernment for the week, exercise and discernment, asking for clarity, maybe even asking if people need clarity from you. Defining what you really mean, what you really want to see for your future, because the Queen of Swords is also looking at the bigger picture, trying to scan past all the little immediate problems and issues and things, and saying, wait a minute, you guys are like little gnats that won't go away, but I need to clear up and look at my future and see what I need to do today that, makes more sense for me. So discernment, being able to see bullshit. Don't see bullshit and then just laugh at it. See bullshit and call it out this week, right? But call it out with grace. With this energy, and don't talk yourself out of things that you already know are true. It's like, why am I trying to make something more of what, I can see the injustice, I can see, but and I can see when somebody's doing something wrong, and the difference between right and wrong too. So getting pulled into situations like that, you're being asked to kind of step back and just go, you know what, this is not my circus. Your biggest challenge, the Knight of Wands. And it looks like maybe judging how fast something's going or how inconsistent someone is. This is a chasing energy. Don't chase anybody this week. I just got really loud and really mean right there, right? That was my Queen of Swords voice that you just saw. Queen of Swords can be mean sometimes. And I just did that. You know, because the biggest challenge this week is if somebody's inconsistent with you, you may want to chase and figure it out and kind of lasso them in, or, you know, this wild horse. And it's not, you know, see something for what it is. If somebody is all over the place, intense, exciting, disruptive, remember, this guy's disruptive. I'm going to come in and I'm going to disrupt your life. And because I'm passionate and I'm excited and I know you want me, you know, that kind of shit. And then next thing you know, your life's in an upheaval, and then they leave, and you're like, what the hell was that all about? You know, that's the kind of energy you want to avoid this week. You know, the Justice card, you know what's right, and you know somebody is always going to pull the same shit, right? And don't let them ruin your or hold you back. Now, what I'm seeing with this is if somebody does pull back and you have this urge to chase somebody this week, just know that this person is going to be back in. So don't let them stress you out. This is where you got to detach and call the bullshit as you see it. They will be back around. It's their attitude right now. It's their energy right now, right? They don't even think before they speak. They just go for it. And, you know, discernment comes in. If you've seen this happen several times, don't expect it to be different this time. You know, you can hope for the best, but be realistic, you know. And the chemistry and the intensity does not mean that it's meant to be. It just means it's fun and they're intense and they're really sparking some, you know, they're bringing some drama to your life, and it's fun for the minute until reality shows you this person wants something stable. Right now, it's just a bunch of intense tossing around chemistry and having a good time, but don't chase. They like the chase. They like people to chase them. In love in particular, I have the 9 of Pentacles, right? So love, this is where this is your energy, very independent. You don't need anybody. You want somebody. So there's a thing with Virgos, you know, you've got to, you know, sometimes you have to act like you need somebody. I don't know, right? Maybe sometimes it is softening up a little bit so people feel needed. I'll look at Aries through Pisces and I'll see how this energy is affecting this. But this could also be that you're connecting to somebody who is has this Virgo energy where it's like, I've got so much going on too. I'm very independent. I enjoy your company. I want this, but I don't need it. I want my life to stay the same. I want to sustain things the way they are. And I want to get together when we can, or, you know, I just like my independency. So this can also throw you off because you could chase somebody who's very independent and it can seem like they're being avoidant, but that's just that's their personality. Right. Or you're just dealing with somebody that genuinely likes to be single and mingle. And they're not looking for, you know, well, they say they're not looking for stability until, you know, the right moment comes in, or the right person. Now, life, I see 4 of Wands. Right, so you're making it happen, right? You have a lot of milestones you've been celebrating. You have a good rooted foundation. Some of you maintain your business, you maintain your home, you gone to school, you do your thing, you're ready for family, you have all 4 walls around you, good food on the table, or maybe working towards, you know, upgrading your life or just trying to get started. But it is your focus though is to have a happy home. Now, I do see a possible big milestone this week when it comes to the 4 of Wands. There could be somebody coming over. There could be a gathering at your house. There could be somebody inviting you to go somewhere. There could be something that just feels like it's coming together. Things are coming together in life. Now, how are other people showing up for you? I see the 2 of Cups. So maybe somebody is getting ready to say the thing to you, to reciprocate feelings to you. Your people around you could be mirroring you. All right. So be mindful that, you know, some people they imitate, they mirror, they see what you're doing and they do. So pay attention to energy dynamics this week when it comes to people. If you're showing up happy and good to go and you've got no chip on your shoulder, you know, people are going to mirror back that energy that you're giving off, and and reciprocate. And if you do have a chip on your shoulder, then people may be a little bit standoffish or be kind of hard to understand. There could be some confusion that comes in between conversation this week, because people may be sensitive, which means they may take something personal. If you're aggravated about something and it's about somebody else, the energy may get drawn to the wrong person. So we are seeing also here possibility of meeting somebody this week, meeting up with somebody, having a heart-to-heart with somebody, and really just feeling like, we're trying to understand each other. We're getting somewhere. Your advice for the week is the 6 of Cups. So, one, not idealizing the past and not always looping around the past and wanting things to be like the past. It's about creating new memories and staying in the present moment this week. We can revisit the past. We can call people we haven't seen in a while. We can, but we can't, it's not good to live in the past, right? And maybe you do want to bring somebody forward, or you're ready to reach out to somebody from the past. It's a good energy to really have a heart-to-heart with somebody this week if you were thinking about forgiveness or finding forgiveness for somebody. But also to just remember, you're getting a strong mirror in energy. So how you show up is how others are going to respond. Very strong mirror in energy this week. So it's easy to project during this energy, or it's easy to think somebody's mad at you during this energy, and not realize that you might be aggravated about something and that person is thinking you're mad at them. You know what I mean? It can get confusing. So watch out for confusion this week. So Aries through Pisces. I have Aries. All right. Things don't seem like they're really getting any easier with you and an Aries. It's like this one here is the 10 of Swords. It always seems like it's ending. It just always seems like it's ending even before it starts. Or and you've got somebody here in Aries that really wants to enjoy their independency. Maybe they just recently got out of a breakup, and so it's a difficult period right now. Maybe it's a time where we got to give somebody space and not chase somebody. If they're ready, they'll come to you, they'll pursue you. Taurus, the moon card, there's also uncertainty, and there's it's easy to project or distort the reality with a Taurus right now. They could be questioning or testing the waters or uncertain about whether or not they want to lose their independency, or if they're feeling like they're ready for a relationship. I mean, there could be a million of things going on, but it's too unclear, and it's easy for you or them to project onto one another and distort the situation, and it could turn in a way that you don't want it to. Remember, the eclipse energy could be affecting them. Gemini, I'm seeing really thinking things through right now and trying to have a clear head. You may get a decision from them today, and maybe they're trying to figure out the best way to approach the situation. Cancer, you have the 4 of Pentacles. They're holding on. They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose themselves. They don't want to lose anything. They don't want to give too soon. They don't want to give up. They don't want to let go, but it's a control thing out of fear, right? So it can be that it feels like they're withdrawn or they're held back. And if somebody's like that in general, it's really hard to change that energy. It's hard for them to just let go of their perspective, their money, their idea of life, their worldview, their heart, you name it. And so yes, when people push back, do you pursue? Your challenge this week is, do you pursue, right? It's up to you, obviously. Sometimes the chase works, sometimes it doesn't. But, I do see somebody here that it's going to be hard work to get them to open up. Leo, 2 of Pentacles. So you are seeing inconsistency with the Leo. It's still too soon to really decide. you know, it's like we got a lot going on here, so we have to work with each other at this point. You know, it's like maybe we need a moment here to just kind of recalibrate things and kind of take a look at what's really going on. Do we really have enough here to move forward? Do we really share the same values? Are we really that into each other? You know, that's a big question. Somebody might think you're hot, but they might not be that into you. You know, it sucks, or the same thing for you to another person. So I am seeing, you know, you're in this stage of somebody really trying to adjust or figure things out. Virgo, 8 of Wands, right? So Virgo's all excited. Virgo's like bracing for something fun. Maybe that, you know, this is your energy too, ready for something to really go explode, go for a travel, go get out of here, go do something exciting, you know, but it's also transmitting your energy. So if you've got a lot of energy and somebody here is holding, you know, stressing you out, this is where that chasing, using your energy or being aggravated with somebody else and taking it out on somebody else, or, you know, so finding a way to use your energy this week, especially because it's explosive. And you and another Virgo, though, you seem to be kind of on the same energy, so conversations should go back and forth pretty easily. Libra, you have 10 of Cups energy, wanting everything, feels like they belong to you, all right? So it does feel like you guys are building some sort of relationship on one way or another. You know, you guys understand each other, get it, or you'll figure it out and you know it on some level. Scorpio, you know, you know, they just feel you know, stuck, you know, they just feel, you know, under a lot of pressure right now, you know, and it's like, I don't know what to do right now. And it's hard to communicate with somebody who refuses to see anything right now and is trying to work through their own stuff. So they may have a hard time seeing your point of view. Sagittarius, all about your attention, right? You know, wanting validation this week. So they may be checking up just to make sure you're still there. You know, you're still in it. Capricorn desires you. All right. So it's a good energy with a Capricorn. It feels like, you know, I just want to savor the moment. I like the moments when we're together. I like the good times. Maybe you're going through a honeymoon period. Or they just love the honeymoon period, but when things get serious, that's when they run. You know, you got to be careful of that. Aquarius, all right? So, you know, really wanted to give to this, or maybe realizing where they need to give to this. This is also where the Justice card can be, paying off a debt, you know, realizing they have to put a little bit more work into, you know, or they have to pay you back or reciprocate exactly what you're doing. So you may get a little bit more reciprocation this week. And Pisces, you know, they got so much going on that it could be easy for them to take the pressure out on you, right? Or the situation. So it's hard to tell here, you know, it's like when somebody's got a lot on their plate, you know, they could snap easily, or they could disappear easily, or rest, or just not seem interested. So it's really hard to decide with this one too. Maybe you'll get an apology. You know, I've just been distracted, but they do have a heavy weight on their shoulders. I love you guys. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. We're taking a look at August 17th through the 23rd. All right. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. That's nice to know. All right. Believe in the impossible too at the bottom of the deck. So you are rare, you know, and when I pull this card every now and then, I think there are just some people that just don't fit in. You know, there are just some people that are not supposed to fit in. And people are curious, or people, you know, don't understand you, you know, misunderstand you often. And that can lead to self-doubt, or, you know, depending on what kind of structure you have, or how much reassurance you've been given, or how confident you are in yourself. You know, if sometimes these feelings of just feeling different can feel negative when they're not. All right. And there's not many people like you, which means people have to learn you. They have to learn to understand you. And so being able to communicate yourself more effectively is going to be something that maybe for you is a little bit more work for you. It requires more patience, especially if you're a real people person and you really want people to understand you. It's going to be fighting off fears that every confusion or every miscommunication or every thing that is misunderstood is because you did something wrong or you're the bad guy. So it's changing your lens from I'm unique and I'm different, and most people miscommunicate with me or misunderstand me because, maybe they just never met anybody like me, and I have to learn to show them who I am rather than change who I am to fit the quo, right? And so it's very beautiful energy, and it seems as though you're being asked to really build upon these things that make you feel unique rather than still being consumed with fear about what other people maybe think, right? Because it's probably not what you think. So let's see the energy this week, your possible challenge, and then what will show up in love with Aries through Pisces. Several cards just popped. So there's 3 sitting on here. So I'm going to pick the first one. There's the 8 of Swords, right? So feeling constraint constantly, feeling like I've got to think about everything, feeling inhibited, it's just like, I just want to be able to be myself, and I wish everybody would understand, or I wish I could be this or clearer, or I wish other people would be clearer, because on the flip side of that, there are not many people like you. So it's going to be a lot of people, a lot of friction and a lot of resistance from people who don't always understand where you're coming from. So this is a challenge for you. This is a challenge for you not to, again, the week of the energy, the 8 of Swords can be a lot of doubt. And some people are just given certain gifts, and maybe you have a gift in here, but learning to use it. This could be what is happening with all this energy right now, is helping you learn to use these differences to actually teach other people. Now, your biggest challenge maybe this week is the Knight of Cups, shutting down. I feel like maybe not feeling love is reciprocated, or not knowing how to express your love, and really being in your head. A relationship could slow down. This is Knight of Cups talks about romance. It talks about new romance messages coming in. But the challenge could be just not always feeling love, or feeling the love, or feeling like somebody's engaged or meaningful or has good intentions when they are talking to you. It could also be you're outgrowing a situation. You're just not really feeling the love. And it's, the 8 of Swords, you feel stuck though. Some of you could be stuck in a situation and you just don't know how to let go of it, even though maybe you are done with it, but it still keeps showing up one way or another. So I do see the challenge this week could be romanticizing a relationship, could really get stuck in your head, the way you want things to be, and creating something that's not happening in reality. But it can also be doubting that there's even love, or anybody's even going to reciprocate love, and when is love going to show up. So we are in the eclipse energy, so some of this can show up, and if you're waiting for an invitation, and you're waiting for somebody to reach out, and they don't reach out this week because of this energy, this is where too that you can start creating stories around there's something wrong. Why is this happening? Why, don't always assume you're the bad guy, or you're the reason, or you did something wrong. So let's see, in love particular, I do have the Ace of Swords, and it was in reverse there because it flipped out of the deck. So, this can be, severing ties with some people, getting clarity, or trying to get clarity, or declaring what it is you really want when it comes to a relationship. Now, I will look at Aries through Pisces, and it may be clear who, you know, the challenge is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is a challenge to me, can be more of the player than the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is in your face, you know, it's sexual. Knight of Cups, it seems like they can play on your heart a little bit. They love to be in love, and the emotion, you know, can really swoon you. And then all of a sudden there's mixed signals. There's no clear end game. There's no commitment, right? So, you know, this is where Aries through Pisces, you may finally decide, you know, I need to sever ties with this person. You know, I can tell that there's no meaningful energy. There's no feelings that are, the feelings aren't mutual, or they're not growing. But then some of you here too with the Ace of Swords, this does show that the truth is going to land this week, seeing it clearly and knowing that, you know, maybe somebody does love you, but they misunderstand you, or there's miscommunication because you guys just don't think the same. You don't process things the same. And we all can be in the same room at the same time and see a completely different color of the wall. It is that crazy. Even if it's a white wall, you know, we might all see some different shade of white, right? It's the way it is. And so this is where clarity and truth may be coming in with your person. So we'll see what kind of decision might be being made. Now in life, you have the Four of Wands too. So it looks like things kind of coming home, things kind of happening, things around the home maybe is a big thing. You know, you could be working on your home, looking for a new home, deciding what's the next step in your life. What do you need to do about family connection? Maybe you're getting together with people. Maybe you're welcoming somebody home, or there's a big moment in your life around somebody that's in your family, right? So there is some big wins here. The Four of Wands shows this week there could be another win when it comes to feeling content, feeling peaceful and happy when it comes to your life in general. Now, how are other people showing up? And this is going to affect everybody, not just Aries through Pisces. I'll look at that separately. The Emperor card. All right, ready to get shit done, ready to enforce the rules, ready to be in charge, right? So you got a lot of ego here, you got a lot of confidence, and you have a lot of people that are pretty much, you know, in charge of their lives, doing their thing, getting, you know, structured, building, and it can sometimes feel like there's power struggles, right? Or somebody may, you know, pull back, because the Emperor will pull back too if they feel like, you know, we're not getting anywhere. There's too much bumping of heads. There's too many chiefs here, not enough Indians, that kind of energy. So I do see initiation and people initiating contact this week too. And so this is where you may need to be, you know, decisive about the challenge here, which is the Knight of Cups. Is somebody who's initiating, are they really playing with my heart, or is this somebody that I'm just misunderstanding? The Emperor card is talking about a lot of people feeling very important this week, feeling very much in charge. And so it's going to be hard to be vulnerable or not to take things personal if people around you are kind of being I want to say one thing, right? This is good, really good energy. It can be controlling energy. It can be on a mission energy, people on a mission in their life, people doing their thing, but they may not always be mindful of how it's affecting your feelings, right? And so, but it doesn't look like they're doing it to be malicious or on purpose, but they're just taking charge of their own lives, right? So let's see your advice for the week. The Lovers card. You know, aligning to your true, what feels right for you, right? Not trying to perform or align with people or thoughts that just are not true. You know, it's like you have choices to make this week, and it looks like the choice for you is going to be through communication. How you choose to view, focusing on what you truly believe others think about you and why. Why would you assume that just because somebody pulls away, it has to be that you did something, or it was horrible, or you're misunderstood? What if it was nothing? you know. So choosing to find other alternatives to why something isn't working out for you or why you think a certain way rather than your first choice. So challenging yourself there. Now I am seeing the Lovers and the Emperor, so I can see that some of you are being tested as well too with relationships that seem so connected, so soul level, but at the same time, it's like you're wanting it to become more grounded and practical, and desire and love and the Lovers can bring people together, but it doesn't always mean it can work logically. So Aries, I have Page of Cups. You may get clarity on their feelings this week. It does look like they have feelings for you. All right. And they, you know, maybe have a hard time expressing themselves, but it does look like an Aries wants to talk to you. Taurus also looking like planning on getting together, meeting up with you. You know, they're on the fence about where they want to go right now, but it's still kind of too soon to just think the worst, right? You know, you have them, they're activated, they feel you. Gemini wanting something a little bit more serious. You know, maybe this week they're declaring or titling the connection and wanting to take or make you guys more intertwined with your routines. Cancer, Knight of Wands. So you're getting very much fiery, feisty inconsistency with a Cancer. So this could be where you got to be real with yourself. Sometimes, you know, there's passion, there's chemistry, and it could be seasonal. It could go somewhere. But right now with this energy, the Knight of Wands, they're wanting to live the best, right? They're wanting to, it's real when they're in the moment with you, but when they're gone, they want to be doing other things, right? So just be clear on that. That's where they're at, the one I'm picking up on. Leo is trying to figure out what the hell their next step is, right? You know, contemplating, if I don't even know where I'm at in my own life, how can I give you an answer that you want, right? You know, I don't know if we're wasting our time. I don't know if I'm wasting my time. I don't, you know, this could have to do with their whole life in general, and then you're wanting a relationship with them, or you're wanting certainty from them, and you're not going to get it, especially if they're still contemplating their next move. You know, other than that, I'd just say a little bit of patience with them, because who knows what the answer is going to be. They look a little unhappy about the way the things are going right now. Virgo, you know, it's time, you know, to shed parts of this connection that no longer serve the connection, right? It could be ending. The relationship could be ending. Something needs to change. They're different. You're different. You might be ending things with a Virgo this week, or ending conflict with a Virgo. Libra. So Libra, confronting quickly some of these things that are going on in your head, right? Clearing your head. You know, the Knight of Swords, not afraid to open fire. Let's go, right? And being very, you know, the Eight of Swords and the Knight of Swords for you is insistent that you're right. When you're coming from a place of doubt and lack of maybe having all facts and information before you automatically make assumptions. But if your energy is the Eight of Swords and the Knight of Swords is in your position here, this means you could be making quick, irrational decisions based off of assumptions that might not be true. So the same thing goes for your Libra. Now this week, you guys could be really talking a lot, things speeding up, things getting quick. You could be confrontational. You might be very direct, but I do see communication with the Libra. Scorpio, you know, taking it slow with a Scorpio. You know, it seems like they're trying to figure things out. They're wanting to, you know, understand. They're wanting to get to know you. So this week they may apply themselves more. They may step up a little bit more, but they are in this energy of a page, which is more tender. It's like, look, I'm just trying to figure things out. Sagittarius might feel a little distant this week. Don't fret. It does feel like, you know, I need a moment to process what's going on here, or I just need some time to myself. And the silence, you know, is also observing you, also trying to see how you react to their silence. You know, it could be a test for some of you. Capricorn, we're seeing conflict, maybe has a lot going on. Capricorn could be trying to take care of a million different things going on at the same time, and their energy can flow to you as being kind of restless. So there could be some tension or agitation or aggravation, argument, but challenges that challenge you to grow, right? So whether it's like, pick your battles when it comes to a Capricorn this week. Aquarius queen, all right? So really feeling drawn to you. They really feel your feelings. They really understand you. They really have deep feelings for you. So this week could be an emotional week with an Aquarius. And Pisces, things could move, pick up speed with a Pisces. So if you are having conflict, be mindful that words could really land sharp this week, but also words can really be intense and really spark up some fun and excitement with your Pisces. I love you guys. Scorpio, sun, moon, rising, August 17th to the 23rd. Let's get an oracle. Keeping up. I was saying this just yesterday. I just felt like it was hard to keep up with everything that I need to do. Look at the bottom of the deck. Use your time well. Make every moment count. I'm trying, Lord. I'm trying. Right? So immense effort and advancing. And, sometimes it just takes, showing up and mustering and getting through and, just feeling like, you try. All you can do is your best, Scorpio. All you can do is your best, right? There may be some aggravations this week, complications when it comes to, trying to get the mundane stuff done, the everyday, shit to help us survive, right? And if one thing shows up and distracts you, or one thing doesn't, I had a hair appointment, it took forever, it messed up my schedule. Last week, this was really happening. I had my hair done on Thursday, and just seemed like I couldn't get anything right. And now we're getting the same energy where it's like, people need to keep up with you too. All this effort that you're putting in will pay out, right, in time. And sometimes there is a crunch energy where, it is what it is. Now, the flip side to that is keeping up when it's not necessary. What are you trying to keep up with that needs to fall off the table? Sometimes when life gets to you, and you compare yourself, like, everybody's doing this, why am I over here feeling this? Well, everybody's different on a different day, right? So not trying to keep up with everybody, doing what you can do, especially if the week feels like you just can't be 100% champ all the time. Maybe you're meant to focus a little bit more in the background on things around your home, or things that that you haven't, that really want your attention, not everything else. You can't do it all. So let's see your energy for the week. And again, that feels like your challenge too here, keeping up, but we'll see if anything else comes in. Strength card at the bottom of the deck, right? Hold your shit together. It's like you don't want to lose your shit this week, right? It's like working out, using your energy, getting strong, building it, because, sometimes people don't know how much you are holding it together, and people be walking around, throwing their shit around everywhere and saying things like you're not holding your very last piece of sanity and, together. I'm sure there's a funnier way to say that, but at any moment, maybe, this is where you can only hold on to so much, right? And showing yourself a little bit more compassion this week. And this, this is regulating your emotions and softening up, and, just not trying to let your pride get in the way of things, right? If things seem a little bit off or incomplete or giving you a hard time, your pride might be the first thing that gets hit. Like, I know I can do this, but how come this week I can't control? You can't control other people. You can't control circumstances. That shit just happens. And you know what? If it happens and something disappears or something goes, let it go. There's a saying, let things go that want to go. Let things come in that want to come in. and life would be so much easier if we just let that happen. The energy for the week could be around family, support, dynamics, family problems, family issues, family fun things, family, like I was saying, maybe you can't keep up with everybody and the focus needs to be your family this week or what's important to you in your home life. Now, the success, what I am seeing here, the 10 of Cups is showing up in your energy, which tells me this week, maybe sometimes you're putting so much effort into things, you're trying to advance because you have goals, you have dreams, you want the whole thing, right? This is the 10 of Cups. This is the ultimate, the 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, the blessing, the family life, the dogs, the chickens, the farm, whatever it is, right? But sometimes, your work isn't going to waste, but sometimes, it's just hard to keep up with everything that you got going on. You may have a million things that you're trying to do at once, and sometimes doing it all at once doesn't advance you quicker. It actually slows you down, right? So maybe spending time with family this week. There could be some family dynamics that is coming up that's asking for resolution, and building a home that feels comfortable to you, making things right when it comes to your home life. Now, your challenge is the Hermit card, right? Some of you don't want to be home. Some of you just want to get the hell out and go your own way, go on a different path. Some of you want to isolate and be by yourself, and that could be some of the biggest challenges. It's like, I can't keep up. I'd rather go do my own thing and just stay behind. I've already, been there, done it, and don't want to do it again. Sometimes that attitude can grow on us as well and stop us from experiencing new fun things. But maybe some of you need to come out of your hermit cave and spend time with family and do things, especially if you're working all the time or just always by yourself, always doing something. Just because you're trying to advance in something or you're trying to get something, maybe your focus is so much on one thing that you are being asked to, kind of take a step back and not spend a lot of time just focusing in one area of your life. Now, in love, I'm seeing the 9 of Cups. So love looks good for you. It seems like there's, forgiveness. There is satisfaction. There is feeling good, feeling like somebody wants you, feeling like somebody sees you, feeling pleasant, feeling good. Although I'll look at Aries through Pisces, and sometimes this energy can say, yeah, it's good when it's good and the honeymoon period's good, but when things get, a little bit questionable, we're having the talk, all of a sudden, the person disappears. It's like, oh no, that's not comfortable to talk about. I want to keep things fun and delicious and happy and definitely content, but maybe we need to look at some of the issues going on so we can advance, right? Wanting to move forward in a relationship. But it does look like you have some really good energy when it comes to being able to get what you want from your relationships this week. So let's see how they show up. Now, in life, I'm seeing the 8 of Cups, so this can be, some of you could be questioning your purpose, right? Again, I have a strong feeling about that. I believe our purpose is just to live and to have all these experiences that we're having. And, the reason why it sucks is because we choose to suffer by living in fear and holding on to things that want to go, right? Let them go, and, we just don't move on from things quick enough. We hold on to shit and process it. And, this is showing 8 of Cups, your life. It's choosing to follow what makes you feel really good, moving on from things that are uncertain, moving on from things that are not landing in reality. It all sounds good on paper, but can we make it work? Is this going to happen? Do I have a direction? Do I need to do a little soul searching about what am I investing in? Are you investing in a dream or a possibility, but there's no reality or evidence saying that we're making actual steps forward? And if not, then maybe I do need to walk away and decide which direction I'm going in. right? And this could even be just going on travel. Maybe life is calling you in a new direction right now, just for the temporary moment to say, go do something, go on a vacation. Now, how are other people showing up for you? I do see the Ace of Pentacles. So you have a lot of realness around you. You have opportunities showing up for you. People wanting to invest in you. Seeds have been planted. Maybe you're meeting new people. Maybe you started something new. And so you have opportunities around you, including relationships, that really do have the potential to grow into something. But, you know, it's like, we're in the early stages. We have to let things kind of happen organically. And just because something or someone does show up for you doesn't necessarily mean that they are the one. It just could be an opportunity. But it does feel like you're building some solid grounds, and there could be a new person or opportunity showing up for you this week. Your advice, Ace of Cups, open up your heart, let down your guards. All right, let down your guard, let love in. You know, you got to be open and ready to receive. You know, it's like, you have the Hermit card, your biggest challenge. You know, and this is our grumpy old hermit, you know, that is like, I've had a lot of experiences, you know, it's going to take a lot for me to let you in. You know, you can try, but you have two aces showing up in your reading, Scorpio. So the problem might not always be the other person. I know you hate to hear that. It could be that you're not letting love in. You're not open to receive. You know, you want to test the waters. You want to be prepared. You want to know everything that's going to happen before it happens, before you even let somebody even unfold and be comfortable around you. And that might not be for everybody, but sometimes, you know, that can be, I've been burned. I don't want to get hurt. So another person is got to, you know, go through the pre-test, the pre-qualifications before I even say hi to them, you know, and that can be a fear of people. So let's look at Aries through Pisces. Aries is going to keep trying. It looks like, you know, every time you do show up, it doesn't matter what your situation is. They keep trying. They keep trying to understand you. You know, they are, you know, wanting to keep it simple. They are trying to figure you out. This is new for them. You're new for them. You know, they feel something there. They might not be able to define it, but when you feel something, you get intense and want everything in the moment. You want to consume it in the moment, and your Aries will consume it for a second, but then back away, and then, you know, wait a while and then come back in again. So you guys can be very magnetic, but also explosive at the same time, and very triggering for each other. But they like what they see. Taurus, the Emperor. So you have a Taurus really stepping up and enforcing things, enforcing, maybe titling the relationship, maybe stepping up to really make things happen, taking things serious this week. So again, I'm going off this Nine of Cups, and your biggest challenge is the Hermit card, which can also be somebody ghosting or being very cold or just wanting to be alone. And it also can be needing to reflect a little bit on your position and how you're interpreting something. And so we do see a Taurus here getting ready to, like, you know, call it, you know, countdown. Let's go. Let's take off. Gemini also wanted to make things a little bit more serious with you. Maybe you want to ground in on a relationship. Remember, if there's other people involved, it's complicated. They desire you, you know, but if there's somebody else in the picture, I can't magically make them go away. But Gemini here seems to really care about you, very compassionate about the relationship. Cancer is very independent, very much, I can do what I want. I do what I want on my own will. I am attracted to you. I feel like we have a lot in common. But a Cancer will disappear, especially if they want their freedom and they don't want to explain it. And they don't want to have to explain it. And they just want to be understood. And they'll say it and show it in indirect ways. But I don't like codependency. I value my independency. Leo, 5 of Wands. So there is some tension and conflict with a Leo, but something's been activated. You activate, you make them mad, or you activated them, or you challenge them. And sometimes it can get fury, too much drama, and we need to take a step back. But sometimes, like, you know, it can trigger because we both love the game, we love the chase, we desire each other. So there is an intense energy there with you and Leo. Oh, Virgo's like delicious. Virgo loves you. There's a deep connection. They desire you. So if they pull back a little bit, it's not always because they're disinterested. It's because they really do need to process everything, and they take their time. Libra, Ace of Wands. So something's activated this week with you and a Libra. You guys are very interested in each other and very attracted. So you might be getting something started this week with a Libra. And Scorpio, you have the Wheel of Fortune. All right. So time to, you know, pivot, time to reevaluate. Something could be coming around. Now the Scorpio could be coming around, but we need to pivot. We need to, you know, change something. We need to do something different in order for it to go in a new direction. All right. So this can be a very good energy. You know, there's an opening, there's something happening, but if we don't do it the right way, it's just going to be another hamster wheel, another cycle. Sagittarius, you know, Sag is grieving, you know, they just kind of holding on to, you know, what's happening. They might be in a down place, might be low energy, just emotionally fatigued. And so this could feel, you know, like for you, if they ghost, it could feel like a ghosting. But you have a Sag here that really just is withdrawn because they're grieving a situation and just want to be alone. Capricorn, King of Swords. You have Capricorn really thinking about you. You know, sometimes they pull away also to process their emotions. They desire you, but is this something that can last long term, right? So they really are analyzing the situation. Aquarius, you know, Aquarius desires you and just naturally feels like it's going to go where it's supposed to go. So they're not really stressing it, and they're just kind of relaxed about where it's going. That could stress you out, but we have Pisces, different energy. Pisces feel stuck, you know, they just excuse after excuse, or just doesn't, you know how to handle the situation correctly, or is confused around the situation. I love you guys. Take care and have a great Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Let's take a look at the week ahead. Let's just start with an oracle and see what the guides have for you today. Who in the world are you? Getting to know the new you. All right. So this sounds like an entryway. You know, maybe it's like you've been kind of wondering what the hell's going on lately. You know, things don't seem to fit for me. I'm not sure. It's the same world I've been in, but I'm not quite, you know, vibing with it. I'm changing, right? And it could be a hanged man type of energy too, where you may have been in a position for a while where you just felt like things just didn't seem, even the things that you were used to, maybe seeming like they were quite yours, or, you know, something was changing, but you couldn't quite pin it. So who in the world are you now, right? Especially if you've left a scenario or situation, or start a new job, new relationship. And now this is where we kind of take a pause and we need to sit back and definitely ask ourselves, has our values changed? Has our needs changed? Has our preferences changed? Because this is a new version of yourself and you're looking through a different lens. And so not everything is going to be 100% clear right out the gate. Let's take a look at the energy for the week and the possible challenge. Tower card here at the bottom of the deck. So it does look like maybe something in your life has changed, where it's dismantling, it's coming apart. You've had to go through a lot, and now maybe you're dusting things off and rebuilding here. The number 19 is the sun energy. So it feels like, all right, I see clearly now the truth, and, you know, there's no unseen things. There's no unknowing what I need to do. And now it's time to paint the sun back into your sky by, you know, acknowledging what's going on, but at the same time trying to pick the pieces up one step at a time. If the tower's going on right now, this could be a week where something is being exposed, something that, maybe you're feeling in your body. You just know that, an answer's coming, or you're going to see something, or something's going to change the direction of your life. Now, your energy is the Six of Pentacles, right? So it does look like things trying to work itself out. It looks like, people listening, people hanging in there, people being very supportive, maybe a debt being paid back, maybe somebody helping out with some money if it is a financial thing that's going on. Or maybe something big has happened where you've gained finances, and this is a week where you're helping others out. Like, you may, when I see getting to know the new you, maybe there is some big unexpected financial windfall coming your way. I'll send the blessing and the prayer to you, and it's like, this is where you give back, and, you're trying to figure out where you fit, where you stand, and, maybe you are being very generous with your energy. But this is a week of give outs, right? So things return in. So if you are going through something, just knowing that there is support around you. And if you've helped others before, others are coming in to help you. Now, the biggest possible challenge this week is being open to receive the gifts when it comes. Are you able to accept kindness when it shows up for you? So we can say we want help, we want things, but as soon as people offer advice or offer assistance or offer their energy, or as soon as people maybe make an attempt to try to do something, we can shut down and not be open to receive it, for different reasons, right? So it might be a challenge for you this week to be open to giving or receiving love from people in times of change or uncertainty. Now, in love, I'm seeing the Wheel of Fortune. So this could be where something is being exposed with the Tower card. It's like, what cannot hold in a relationship right now is going to just, again, the word dismantle keeps coming to my mind. It's like, what comes around goes around in a sense, but if it's the same old shit, it's coming around, it's going around. At some point, God points a finger and says, enough's enough, right? Like, just gotta, can't hold on to it. It's obvious that something is holding you back, or something is, wanting to move forward. So the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune can also even be a person really just seeing the truth of wanting a relationship, wanting to give, wanting to open up and be in love. And that's a possibility as well too. If something's meant to happen, it looks as though fate is coming in to help out here. Now, I'll look at Aries through Pisces for you and see where all this fits. Now, in life, I'm seeing the King of Swords. It seems like you pretty much, got a handle on life situations. You seem to be working towards the top, being very successful, very intellectual, make good decisions. Or if none of that fits, none of that applies, and you're going, that's not me. This could be in life. Maybe you got to sharpen the sword. You've got to, take a look at the bigger picture, look at your worldview. What's your worldview right now? If you don't know what that is, then start there. What's the lens you're looking through, and how do you think the world works or is viewing you? And sometimes it can even be, I just need to open my eyes a little bit wider and see that there's more to offer, more advancement. And I need to set the rules and stick to the rules, and have strong boundaries. So it could be looking at the bigger picture. If you're feeling you're good to go, then it looks like it's showing up. You're pretty good to go. You may be communicating with Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, a person of a higher power or an authority this week. When it comes to life, there could be, conversation with somebody of that kind of importance. Now, how will other people show up for you? It looks like wanting to plan or make a decision. So this is where, the Tower shows up, and this is where the Seven of Pentacles show up. Something can't stay the same. Something is stagnant. Something we're getting used to, you know, just waiting for something to happen rather than making something happen. We're getting stuck in the same old routine at times when we're, you know, having meltdowns because it's not where we want to be, or we want to see ourselves somewhere else, or we're keeping ourselves occupied while we're trying to wrestle with the day to day and just get through the mundane, because life is life, right? So you may have people around you who are kind of reevaluating whether or not, you know, the way things are going is the path they want to be on. So there could be some decisions being made, or you could find that some people are actually pulling back a little bit because they're not quite sure if the path they're on is where they want to be. Now, advice for you is the Ace of Wands. Watch for the activations, watch for the spark, watch for the desire. You know, you're wanting to start something, and this is where, you know, it is a good starting point for you. You want to start something, just, you know, go for it, jump in. You got two aces here. What's that thing that you really want to reach for? You know, you have take your chances, you know, make solid plans, use logic, but go for it. So it does look like follow some new experiences this week. Pay attention to what inspires you and what brings you joy, and activations too, because this can be communication and new people coming into your life. Now, Aries through Pisces, you have the Tower, you have the Wheel of Fortune. It's hard to ignore where the relationship is going or what's going on. And so you know, these might not resonate with everybody, but you're either aware or becoming aware that you know, something's changed within both of you, and you both feel like there's something needs to move. We need to move forward. We need to build something. We can do this. Or I can't ignore the fact that this isn't a stable relationship and it's fallen apart because it wasn't real. Aries, 10 of Pentacles, right? So Aries may have put other responsibilities first, or, you know, had other priorities, but it looks like they see a future with you. So things could be turning around. We're going to pivot. We're going to go in a new direction, but we have to take a look at what the problems are and see how we're going to adjust and maneuver. But it looks like they want to pursue this connection. Taurus making a big decision this week about the direction of this relationship too. They may be feeling a strong pull to speak their truth, to be open and honest about forgiveness. You know, maybe it's even, you know, we've judged this wrong and I keep having a pull towards you, so we need to clear something up. So a decision that will change the path as well in your relationship. Gemini, it's looking like we're realizing that we can't get enough of each other, you know. So you have a Gemini kind of coming back around here too, and still wanting to, you know, connect with you. You guys are mirroring each other. Same thing with a Cancer, right? This is very strong love bond. It can be one of the twin flamey type of relationships, or there's been something ignited. And you have the Tower. So there could be another awakening of passion, or something, you know, that really is spontaneous, or, you know, breaking down. And we may be making a choice to make plans for the future. We got to go in a new direction. Now, these can be strong activations, and sometimes they, you know, the choice can be hard at the time, or hard at the moment. It depends on how they're showing up for you, and if both of you are willing to look at what's the circumstances that keeps tearing you apart. Leo, 9 of Cups, right? So everything looks good on paper with the Leo. We may try this again. There's something delicious about both of you. But is it stable? That's what we're probably trying to figure out. Is this just desire, or is it going to settle in and be something long term? Virgo, looks like there's a lot of hesitation with a Virgo, a lot of talking themselves out of it, or just feeling very doubtful. And so, you know, you may have given it many tries and you just feel stuck, or they feel stuck. And so there's still that energy going on with the Virgo, where it just seems like communication is complicated between the two of you. Libra, things coming together with a Libra, figuring out the path. You know, finally we've gotten somewhere, so maybe we can enjoy ourselves or we can decide to move on. But this kind of closure says we both agree upon it. Scorpio, getting ready to initiate, and this is another powerful relationship. It seems like, you know, I just want to go when I want to go. I want to do, you know, I want to be the one to initiate. So maybe they are feeling a strong pull towards you, but they're waiting for the right moment to, you know, plan their move. Sagittarius, you have Two of Cups, so we are seeing a deep conversation coming in with you and another Sagittarius, trying to get on the same page, trying to have that talk, trying to open up and being able to see a relationship through new lenses, new eyes. And so it does look like you and a Sag kind of talking together, talking about getting together. Capricorn, things could be ending patterns with a Capricorn, but it can also be an ego death with the Tower card. And it looks like some things just are coming to an end, and it's inevitable. Aquarius, it looks like good times coming in. Maybe we can take it slow, you know, just kind of see where things go, but I'm feeling you. Pisces also is invested in this connection, and they see a possibility of a future with you as well. I love you guys. Take care. Hello, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. Let's take a look at the week ahead. I'm going to start off with an oracle, and then we'll look at the energy of the week and the challenge and what's showing up in love. All right, uncertainty. Choose who you will become. Choose what you want to happen. Choose how you want to think. Choose choices. We all have choices. All right, so uncertainty, though. You know, it's like which choice is going to get you closer to what it is you actually want this week. There could be a lot of uncertainty when it comes to situations in love. There could be uncertainties when it comes to a career move, right? And it makes it almost impossible to feel safe or feel comfortable with the choices that you have. It's like a Two of Swords. So what do I do here? You know, and this is where you don't have you can't control another person's if they have to make the choice. But if you know exactly who you are, what you're becoming, or where you're going, you can make the choice that is more in alignment with that goal, right? And sometimes that's difficult to do. Uncertainty may be, I need to, you know, make my life clear if somebody else is not going to participate. So let's take a look at the energy with tarot and see how that might play out. And the other way that can play out too is, rather than waiting for ideas to show up at your front step, it's about declaring what it is you really want and then waiting, you know, for the opportunities to come around that come into alignment with that. But if you don't know what you want or who you becoming, then it really does. We kind of just settle with whatever's in front of us. Seven of Wands, right? The bottom line, right? Do I go? You know, what's going on? It's something could be challenging. Maybe you are being tested a little bit. You know, you have an energy which can be very defensive too. And defensiveness can happen when we are uncertain, right? So we don't want to make the wrong choice. We don't want to think the wrong thought. We don't want to, you know, make the wrong choice, right? And so we can also get to where we freeze and we don't make a choice at all. And the uncertainty of situations can also trigger some of our fears, and we can feel testy. And really what's happening, I feel like you may be being tested to see how badly you really want something. Ace of Swords, you know, so if that was the energy or that resonated, that kind of energy has been resonating. The Ace of Swords is showing up for the week, and it's naming the truth. It's seeing the thing. It's looking at what's causing so much uncertainty and deciding what we're going to do with it from this point moving forward. So the week is seeing things, seeing your truth, clarifying things, and knowing exactly what, just naming it, just knowing what is it that's really uncertain, what is it that's really bothering you, right? And then the challenge this week, the Eight of Swords, is going to be cutting something out. You know, rather than giving something or constantly sitting in or feeling stuck or repeating a pattern with somebody or thinking something again, you're being asked to cut something out here. Now, in love, I see the Hanged Man, and this could be where it's playing out, because love is showing up with the Hanged Man. It's like, where the hell are we going here? What's happening here? Why am I letting this, I was going to say dingleberry still hang on, you know? And, you know, with a clear perspective, two things can happen in a relationship, especially with the Two of Swords. If no choice looks good, we don't make a choice at all, right? We just kind of let something be until the truth shows its face, because the truth will show its face. It will show up. If you let go of something and somebody, it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't change, then, you know, that's naming it. That's the answer. You know, that's what's happening. But also when we let go and we just don't worry about a situation anymore, and we don't let ourselves feel stuck because of another human being or a circumstance, you know, we let something breathe and we move and we go in a new direction. And then that whatever was stuck will come to their own clarity and things will move forward. Or you'll let go. You'll decide to let go of a situation because it's just keeping me stuck. Now in life, I'm seeing the Four of Pentacles. This could be something that's happening in all areas of your life. You know, you're holding on to what you got. You know, you want stability, you want emotional security. And so you tend to hold on to whatever it is you got. And you don't want to let go out of fear. And this is going to be a week that could be very challenging to some of you, not all of you, but to some of you, it could be very challenging because what you are holding on to isn't giving you the emotional security that you thought it was going to give you, even if it's money, a job, a home, a place. I don't want to move. I don't want to leave. I don't want to, you know, there's going to be, you know, still the same nervous system on overdrive right here, the biggest challenge, because the things you're holding on to are not bringing you safety or not making you feel comfortable. So learning to loosen your grip on things that are creating too much uncertainty. And this can show up in other ways too, of wanting to start something new, but you're holding yourself back because, you know, you don't know, you don't have all the plans, you don't, you can't be 100% guaranteed that something is going to turn out in your favor. You know, even if you take that position, is it going to be good for you? Hopefully. You know, you might not like it. You get in a relationship, you give somebody a shot, you know, depending on how many shots you've given them, you know, there's always a chance that you might get hurt, you might get rejected, but we still got to let go and see where it goes. And with life in general too, you know, if you're having issues with finances, this always tells me that you have plenty, you have what you need. But maybe you need to rebudget or shift things around to see what's going on here, because it's our value in money that makes us seem like we spend money carelessly because we lack value in money. If we valued our money, we would have more, you know, because for some of you, it could be something like that. You might be spending monies in places where it's not of value to you. How are other people showing up? I am seeing the Four of Cups. So I can see this could be a very triggering week where it just feels like somebody's not giving enough, or, you know, there can be even a grudge, holding on to something from the past, not able to, you know, move forward from a situation. Do they want this? Are they really that into you? Are they stuck in some way in their own life that they just don't want to see? And there's nothing you can do to fix another person, you know? Are you waiting for them to change? Other people might be just kind of feeling a little bit low energy, feeling emotionally drained. and it can trigger you. It could trigger you this week because a projection comes with the Eight of Swords. And this is where if people are very protective of their hearts or protective of their egos or their emotions here, it can be a two-way street here when it comes to projecting our fears onto one another. But I do see where there could be an uncertainty about certain things. But are you happy either way? If you were to get what you wanted right now, is that going to solve the problem? Your advice, the Nine of Wands, you know, you're expecting a punch in the gut. You're expecting another punch in the gut, which could be why it's very hard for you to loosen up or let go of your grip of certain things. You know, exhaustion and guarded from past wounds. You know, no matter what, you've got a lot of resilience, you're still standing. But it looks like, you know, your path is trying to lead you to not living in survival and nervous system overdrive anymore and lack of security. It's where you can't sustain this kind of energy. You know, it shouldn't be this hard. So this week it could be, again, the clarity. Maybe you will see something for what it is, and you'll decide that my energy, I just don't have it anymore. I've passed this phase. I'm done with this phase. All right. So let's look at Aries through Pisces now. I'm seeing the Hanged Man. So this can say a lot of things. It can say, you know, either it's not going anywhere and you know it. It just feels like the uncertainty is clear, you know, or you guys share different perspectives and don't want to look at each other's point of view, right? So you're stuck, right? And then it can say we're both changing. And so we can't tell right now what we are because we're both changing and neither of us want to let go of each other, but yet we don't know what's happening and what we want right now. So can we just get through this metamorphosis and then figure things out as they naturally unfold? So Aries, I see the Magician card. So there is, you know, they think about you, and as they're thinking about you, they're still kind of focused on what could possibly happen here. So at this point, anything is possible. You guys, you could marry each other though. So this could bring out, you know, your mind's playing tricks on you too, because you might not think that they're attracted to you. But they could be shifting their perspective about this connection and wanting to take action on it as well. Taurus, the Knight of Cups. Taurus's love is growing for you. So it does seem like, you know, if you guys have been in a good place, it seems like nothing's changing. If you guys are, if you're just trying to figure out how they're feeling, it looks like, you know, maybe they do pull away a little bit as they're realizing their feelings for you are growing, right? So sometimes people just don't know what to do with this new version of themselves. They don't know how to feel or how to act. So, but it looks like a good energy coming towards you with a Taurus. Gemini, wishing that you guys can get together, wishing that you guys can make it happen. Now, if there's other complications, this could be why it's a fantasy right now. It's just not landed in reality. So if things are stuck between you guys, it just might be a timing issue with them, and they are still thinking of ways that you guys can make it work. Cancer. We have the Hermit energy. So Cancer is trying to figure out and reflect on their own life and what they really want. And if they've had a difficult time or a hard life, they just want to be by themselves and do their own thing. It's a hard energy to entertain or change. They're very introverted. So it does feel like go, stuck, let go. You know, you may be trying to get somebody's attention who's completely withdrawn from life right now, or just wants to be solo. And it doesn't mean that it can't go somewhere, but right now the energy looks like it's not going anywhere. Leo, Knight of Pentacles. So it is stuck and sludgy and routine-like, and there could be, you know, being critical or judgmental or trying to have everything always perfectly in order with a Leo. And, you know, it's slow change, but it is changing. Maybe you guys are testing each other. Virgo, everything looks good with a Virgo on paper, but you know, when the dust settles, is it going to land? So right now, the Hanged Man and the Nine of Cups kind of tells me, enjoy what's happening right now and don't rush into anything yet, because the the reality of it, once the honeymoon's over, if it's really going to land, we're not going to be able to know until the time comes. All right. So we have Libra, Two of Cups, right? So maybe you and Libra, need to have a talk, need to have the talk. You see things from different viewpoints, right? You want to connect emotionally. Maybe you guys do feel like something's there, but there always seems to be, we need to see each other's perspective, and we need to let go of our perspective sometimes and try to see the others, just to see, try it on for size, and they need to do the same thing, but it looks like a perspective shift, a conversation that could help move this along, and the relationship is definitely growing. Scorpio, Two of Pentacles, you guys don't have enough in common, right? Especially with the Hanged Man. It's like you're in limbo, because it's like either we're still getting, it doesn't mean it's not possible, but it just means that there are just some personalities that don't jive all the time, and Scorpio and Capricorn really do jive for the most part, but everybody is different, But the Two of Pentacles can be got a lot going on, or they're juggling another relationship and is keeping it stuck. So you're still kind of in a phase where it's hard to know the certainty of it. But if you've been doing this for a long time, really, it's not changing. Sagittarius, all right, so it looks like you both are tempted by one another. This might be an unhealthy relationship. Maybe we do need to let go, or we need to completely take accountability of our own actions, because we both have some attachment style to one another that is triggering each other. So something does have to change when it comes to a Sagittarius. There's no doubt that you guys don't feel the connection, the heat, the desire between one another. Capricorn, Four of Wands, bringing it on home with another Capricorn. They feel at home. This could be an important week where it just feels like we're vibing, getting up, getting ready to dance. Been hearing a lot about dance lately, just wanting to wake up in the morning and feel ready to dance, so something good could be coming of you and another Capricorn. Aquarius as well. Aquarius was like, what's the plan, Stan? But let's just kind of go and see where it takes us. So there could be a new start with an Aquarius. And Pisces, Three of Pentacles. Maybe you guys need some help. Phone a friend. It looks like you guys want to work things out, but if it's complicated, and you have their ear, or they're finally texting, or things seem to be kind of moving, call somebody before you react to a situation. That's usually a mediator or some help from other people when you can't seem to work through a problem with somebody. But things could work out with you and a Pisces. I love you. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at this week's energy. I'm going to get an oracle for you to begin, and then we'll look at the rest of the week, nature, communication. All right, so this could be a week where you're being asked to get the hell out of your house and go connect with nature, right? But also it could be some of you are really good with nature and, herbs and oils and being outside. And I have fairy energies, flower energies, maybe some herbal remedies this week. Maybe some of you being called to do something with herbal remedies, trying to find ways to connect with nature. It's more like medicine for you. That's where you revitalize. That's where you shine. Now, elemental messengers, there could be messages this week coming in. And they will come in pretty hard if it's you. You'll see the animals, you'll know what elements, what things are calling you, what stones, what crystals, what kind of protections are calling you, and follow it. See what it's bringing. Maybe your body needs it. Maybe there's animals. If you have a lot of animals around you, take a look at if they're sending you messages, right? So it can be very spiritual, but there could be a lot of messages and downloads this week for my Aquarians. All right, let's see. The energy of the week and your biggest possible challenge. All right. So you got to pick your battles. You got to pick your battles here. The Judgment and the Five of Wands. Intense, feeling agitated, feeling, cornered at times. People always challenging you, people, and it's like, this is where sometimes there's always some chaos going on, always some drama going on. And, judge this, don't get, pulled into a situation and be making judgment calls or having to, because sometimes the middleman always ends up being the one that is, the one trying to help, but the one that, gets screwed over, right? So there could be some battles this week or some inner intensity. You're feeling a calling, but you're not following it, right? So for some of you, maybe the calling was to do something more in nature, do something that you can build upon and sell and grow. And, so if there's an internal struggle happening here, or you're trying to compete with other people, and it's maybe you're competing in the wrong field. Maybe you're competing for the wrong person. Maybe you're competing for the wrong reason. But follow a calling that's coming in for you this week, because this energy that you have, it's there for a reason, but you could be, sending it in the wrong direction, using it for the wrong things, dealing with power struggles with people. And it's because it's not your path, right? Or that's not always true, though. People challenge us. It's also a message, like, wake up, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people need to, be a problem in front of our face. That's also a sign in communication to wake up, what you're doing. But for right now, when I'm reading, it feels like, you've got to make some decision, rather than trying to fight the crowd or fight against the crowd, and go your own path, go your own way. 10 of Cups, there could be some family drama this week, right? But there also could be some family coming together. Your relationships are growing, right? And this is where there's some challenges. The 5 of Wands, there could be a lot of competition going on in your family, a lot of, struggle about my future, not sure, or somebody's having a problem, or there's always a problem, always kind of challenges. But with the 10 of Cups here, it tells me that these problems that you're going through right now are challenging you to grow. So if you are having some family dynamics happen, your family, you guys will get through it, right? These are problems. We all have problems, and we make it through, and it makes us stronger. But if some of you are questioning your purpose, right? Your purpose is to just live and experience life and try to, I believe it's just try to do as much as we really can with what we got, what we're given, the gifts we're given. And maybe that's where you're struggling with something, like you feel that is not your purpose, is not your career, it's not your direction. And maybe that's the shift of perspective. But when you're doing something that you love, that's how you add to your purpose and joy and happiness. So some of you might be figuring that out, and maybe it does have something to do with home life, family life, relationships, figuring out your dynamics with the people in your life. How are you challenging one another, or are you getting along? The biggest challenge here is the 7 of Cups, though, for you too. So it's like you have all these great ideas. You have all these options. Maybe you feel like there's something more out there. There's something better for you. Sometimes we don't see what's in front of our face when we're always thinking there's something better, or we're always, fantasizing about the big thing and then make excuses. It's impossible to get there. So you may doubt your fantasies. You may feel like some things are too good to be true. I can't get to the 10 of Cups, or I'm never going to have this, or I'm not going to have this opportunity. And this is where I think Uranus and Pluto, you're being challenged. You're totally being challenged to go for the big thing, go for the big shiny thing that you're dreaming of, and make it happen. Find creative ways to make it happen. And, sometimes it is about not listening to the demands of home or family or other people's opinions either. You got to follow your dreams and not question yourself. But the challenge is, though, Aquarius, is you got to make it a reality. You can't just keep talking about it or thinking about it, or keeping it up in your head. You got to make it a reality. Now, in love, the 8 of Wands. So I am seeing some spiciness with love. But now the challenge can also be, lots of communication in love, but never landing on the date, or never finally getting together. Here comes the incoming calls. Here comes the, you're even arguing with people, in text or online, but you haven't even got together or built a relationship, or you're not seeing each other, right? You're not landing in. And so there's a lot of options for you, a lot of communication, but none of them are fulfilling you, right? So the hardest thing to do is walk away from people or places or things that kind of give you something to do, but they're actually holding you back from, more exciting things. Now, you also can get a little boost of energy here when it comes to love. So I'll look at Aries through Pisces, and you'll see that, the Eight of Wands can say things can start to pick up if they've been slowing down. The only thing is the challenge of, is this too good to be true? Is this person going to really make that date? Are they going to make the move? Am I wasting my time? Or are you talking to somebody that's a waste of time, but you can see potential? You're in love with the idea of what it could be like with somebody. But the reality is the way they're showing up for you right now is not ideal. Now in life, I'm seeing the Temperance card. All right, so it might be time to pull over, recalibrate, take what you got and see if it's working for you. Where's my life out of balance? Where do I need an alignment? I got to move the tires around. I need to kind of clean up certain things. Maybe I'm being too lackadaisical about certain areas that I know need my attention. Or maybe I just had a big shift in my life and I'm just trying to maintain and let things integrate, right? So you seem to be doing good, doing well this week when it comes to life. It's just about slowing down. And if you got to pull over for a minute, pull over. Are you going to burn out? Or if life's just too boring and chill for you right now, this could be where you gotta pick a piece of puzzle, and tackle it. Go, you gotta start putting it together and making it happen. The puzzle never looks good at first, right? You gotta build the edges and then go. How are people showing up for you? I see the Page of Wands. So it looks like you got a lot of spunk around you. There could be somebody who's spunky around you, some flirting. Maybe you do have options. Maybe you do have people that love to flirt with you. But again, we need the certainty. We need to know where things are going, and not just talk shit, not just talk about it. So I do see maybe a new person coming into your life this week that could bring some fun. This is being creative. Maybe people are coming up with ideas for you. People being very helpful, playful, very creative person that might be helping you with your dreams, with your goals. Your advice, the Ace of Cups, you have to open up to receive in order for these things to happen. If you always have the answer, and if you always tell people if you always tell people that you've already done it, you're basically just saying, I don't need anybody's help. I'm not open to receive, and I need to let love in. I need to, see what people have. It's got to start somewhere, even if it's a little rusty. So let's look at Aries through Pisces. You got a lot of good energy in here, but let's see what's going on here. If something's, needs to land in. Aries, Five of Swords. Aries giving you a lot of mixed messages and confusing you. And right now with the energies that is going on, confusion is just sometimes a way to say, I don't want to deal with this, but I don't want to let you down, or I don't, I just don't know what I want. And, so it's you can play around with that energy right now, but it can be very confusing and it can really mess with you. And yeah, you can wait for it, right? Or you can try and figure it out, but it's up to you. I'm seeing though it's showing up as constant conflict with an Aries, debating, trying to over-explain yourself, trying to figure things out. Taurus, it looks good. Things look good. Maybe you guys are in a fantasy right now. Maybe you guys are hoping that things, I would say, make it happen. Take the next step, with the Taurus. They desire you. There's love there. There could be a potential relationship here. Gemini is a little bit guarded. Gemini's defensive and maybe pushing back and, keeping a block up, right? And it could be because they're testing you. It could be because that you're opinionated, or they don't like to take people's opinions or advice. And so there is some testing here. Might need to pull back a little bit. If they pull back, you just got to follow the energy. Cancer, it looks like Cancer wants to talk to you. Something is growing between the two of you. This is where, we make the magic happen, but we have to, really look at each other and be real with each other. And I have Leo, I'm seeing 7 of Pentacles. So Leo could be questioning whether or not they want to invest in this connection. Fair enough, right? It's just, but depending on how long you've been waiting for them to make a decision, that's where you got to decide if it's holding you back or what. Could there be possibilities? But that's just me giving you the go to hang on even longer. Virgo, 6 of Swords. So you may be clearing things up with a Virgo, traveling somewhere with a Virgo, but moving on from complications. Sometimes for some of you, this could be, I'm just done trying to figure it out and I'm out of here. But it does say keep it simple and focus and just move forward when it comes to a Virgo. Libra, needed a break, overwhelmed, just trying to do a reset, trying to cleanse themselves, meditate, and maybe trying to figure out what their next step is. So this could be a temporary block, or just feels like they've gone quiet, and it's easy to wonder or question or get up in your head here about feelings, and, try not to create things that aren't happening. Scorpio is over everything. 10 of Wands, maybe it's time for vacation. They are just kind of carrying things on their own, or they feel like it's too heavy, it's too much, they've invested too much, and or they're, it's just, there's a heavy energy around it. So carrying a lot of weight on their shoulders, and they're reaching burnout too. So this could be why the friction between the two of you, or it could just be they're over, it's too hard, the relationship's been too difficult. Sagittarius, Ace of Pentacles. It looks like they're feeling something real with you, wanting to get it started, build something. So the opportunity is there. Capricorn, I see kind of regretful or just panicking over a situation. Maybe, why did I say that? Why does this keep happening? Why, my phone's blowing up, and, or I need to say something. So there's some restless energy, anxiety, maybe forgiveness, asking for forgiveness. Scorpio, Sag, Cap. Aquarius, I see the 6 of Pentacles. So, paying back debts and recalibrating and who does what. And maybe this week your Aquarius is going to return the favor, if you've been putting a lot of energy in. And Pisces kind of working on themselves right now. It doesn't mean they're not interested. It just means right now they're kind of focusing on their own situation. All right, I love you guys. Hello, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's get an oracle for the week, and then I'll look at the energy and what's showing up in love. Right? Impossible things, working through the disbelief, imaginative leaps, and a fresh perspective. Wow, I love this card. It sounds like, what the hell just happened here? I did not expect that, right? And, we get so caught up in our narrative and the way things are, and we believe that this is the way it is, and this is the way it has to be. And next thing you know, you're coming up for water and you're like in a completely different time zone, right? And so you may find yourself this week working through a lot of disbelief, like, I can't believe I thought that. I can't believe I let that happen. I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that this is happening. Just think about all the things it could be, and then it changes our perspective, because you can't unsee it, and you're like, well, I guess I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, or guess I wasn't, or I guess I was, or maybe I did have something right. And maybe you're like me and you're like, damn, I was right. There are such some things as impossible things, right? So your perspective could definitely shift this week. And let's see the energy. This doesn't mean it's the energy, it's just an oracle. So you might be at the right place, right time, being very useful. Something getting started. I am seeing the 5 of Cups here. So maybe you are a little unhappy with things not being as you thought they were going to be. You imagine something different. And so this could be offsetting what I just said. Like, you imagine something different. You're grieving a future that never existed. You're grieving in a relationship that never got a chance to even get off the ground. You're grieving a job that you never had a chance to do, or you're grieving a job that just didn't fit anymore. Right. But either way, the Five of Cups is like, it's kind of time to snap out of that, pick yourself back up. And this is where maybe something you are grieving, you're realizing that there's a blessing coming from it. Knight of Swords. So things could move pretty quickly this week, and your assumptions could really be tested. All right, so it's one of those, you're thinking one thing and boom, next thing you know, it's like, I got to make a quick decision here, because that's not exactly I thought we were going this way, but this way isn't working, so there could be a lot of shifting and pivoting this week, a lot of intense energy and very passionate energy. Now, there could be a situation that is turning itself around faster than you thought. This could also be where, you're seeing somebody different. You might notice that you have a judgment on somebody, and they act quickly, or they do something out of the ordinary, and it just makes you see this person completely different than how you saw them before. All right, so reality check is what it sounds like. Now, the challenge this week, but also opportunity, is to have some good times, man. It's like, all right, it's like, let's hang out with some good people, make sure we're checking the people we're hanging out with, because it is a challenge. And sometimes partying too much, hanging on too much, staying out too late, being around the wrong crowd, being influenced by your crowd, you got to be mindful that you're listening to the right people. You might be thinking one way about somebody, like I said, and the challenge is maybe you're seeing somebody a little bit differently this week, maybe a friend, maybe you're starting to have feelings for somebody, maybe somebody's having feelings for you, maybe somebody acts foolish and you're like, damn, this is what I've been, influenced by, so I might have to double check some of my activities and who I'm hanging out with. Another challenge too can just be, not taking the invitation, somebody asking you to go out, get up, go do it. Somebody coming in to try and help you out. Let's try to have some good times. In love, I'm seeing the Two of Pentacles. So it does seem like things could be complicated when it comes to your love situation. And I'll look at Aries through Pisces for you. But it's like we got a lot of shuffling around to do. Either we don't have a lot in common. Things could work, but we're always having to adapt. We're always having to figure things out. And seems like there's other priorities going on, or too much going on. Or there's another relationship going on, and, somebody has to make a decision. And maybe some of you are contemplating, thinking, why won't they pick me? Why won't they choose me? Well, maybe it's a blessing that they didn't. And we might see that with Aries through Pisces, right? But also for some of you, it might be like, maybe they had so much going on and you didn't even realize how much you weighed on them, and they really wanted to choose you. So we could see how that would play out as well too. Some of you just don't have enough in common, and you're trying to make something work and vibe, and you're trying to accommodate too much to make a relationship work. It's like, yeah. Are they good people? Could it be something? Yeah. But is it too much work and too much hassle to even, and then if you sit back and you check yourself, you're like, man, what was I doing? Why was I doing that? I was making something. There could be another person right there just going, I'm waiting for you, Pisces. In life, you got to make it happen. Bottom line, Magician card is here for you. It means you have a lot of good ideas, but you have to initiate. You have to convert your dreams into reality. Get focused, get disciplined. There's no magical wand to discipline, and getting something done. So staying focused and initiating and getting something off the ground might be what you're being called to do right now. Maybe stop not believing in yourself and make it happen, make the magic happen. How are others showing up? I see Page of Swords. You may find that a lot of people will be being communicative with you this week. Be mindful that communication can be a little bit restless. We could misread conversations. So we do want to make sure we're asking questions and we're rereading things several times. But there could be a lot of communication swirling around and people texting, social media activity, everything going on. And so it seems like all information is right there and readily available. And so you may get some news or hear something this week. People may be asking for a lot of your help or a lot of your attention through text. They may be wanting, this could be an invitation to and asking, or just wanting to talk to you, because you do see friendships. So this week, one of your challenges could be a lot of your friends maybe requiring a lot of your attention as well too. And you're kind of divided between relationships and friendships and so forth. Now, your advice, the Hermit card, reconstruction of your life. Sometimes it's just about, coming home to yourself, grabbing a good book and saying, all right, like this is a lot going on for me. And maybe I need to, take a look at what's going on in my path. And is this the road I want to be on? And it also is taking the higher road. So as much as possible, if what's it? Somebody smacks you in the cheek, turn the other cheek and let them smack you in the other one, right? It sounds kind of harsh, but really it's a lesson, and it really does something. It really does. And so just taking the higher road and not getting pulled into other people's drama, or finding yourself tempted to hang out with the wrong crowd. All right. Let's see, Aries through Pisces. What's going on? Aries. Well, Aries got some love here growing. I think Aries is falling for you more than you think. The inconsistencies could be other things going on. And it could be just wondering, themselves, if this is really what's going on here. I'm feeling something more than I thought. So I'm just taking my time with it. But their feelings are growing. You could get some messages this week. Taurus, the Sun card. All right. So Taurus really likes to be around you, likes to, to see you, really has happy thoughts about you. You make them happy. So there could be a good moment this week of clarity when it comes to your relationship, feeling good about where things are at. Gemini, 9 of Pentacles. So Gemini kind of stepping up to the plate. They're very much working on themselves, taking care of business. They're single, they're ready to mingle. It doesn't mean they're going to rush in. That could be what the inconsistency is. Cancer, also a little hesitant. You may be waiting on a Cancer, but it looks like, Cancer trying to figure out their next plans. I mean, they're feeling you. They're feeling pulled. They just, let things come together. Just keep showing up and doing your thing. It looks like, you're just kind of figuring things out, and they're trying to figure things out. Leo just doesn't know if they can fit this into their schedule, if they can do this, or they're starting to feel guilty because they're juggling relationships, or they just got too much going on and they're stressed. And they, if you're getting reactive energy from them, it's because they don't have any mind bandwidth left. Their nervous system's on overdrive. Virgo, 5 of Pentacles. Virgo feeling a little worn out right now, maybe only dealing with their problems, or just any other problem that comes to them is just like, I got to fix this. And, so they could be just kind of fatigued, worn out, and not really feeling or keeping you pushing you away a little bit. The inconsistency could be, they just don't know if they want this as well too, if it's just too much of a, too much of a hassle between the two of you. Libra, King of Pentacles, right? So Libra takes their time, they're taking their time, and that's it, right? King of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles, right? They could be weighing out whether they really see the value of this relationship. King of Pentacles is not going to move forward if they don't see the value in the relationship. If they do, they will pursue it. And then if they're pursuing you, they're taking their time, and when they commit for a long time. So it depends on which side of the coin you're on. But they look like they're being very responsible about their decisions, especially this week. Scorpio also feeling torn, you know, they may have another relationship going on, or they're maybe torn about the relationship itself. I don't know if we see eye to eye. Don't know if we can do this, you know. It's just I can't make a decision, so I shut down. And when I'm ready, or I'll let things happen naturally, or I'll wait for the answer to come to me. So you could have a pause going on with a Scorpio. Sagittarius, you know, they want to see where this goes, right? So they're hoping that you guys can figure out whatever's going on and just kind of get past something and move on. Keep it simple. You know, let's focus and keep things simple with a Sag. Capricorn, bringing it on home, right? Capricorn wanting a good time, wanting to hang out, wanting to maybe reunite or settle in, or they're starting to settle in with the connection, you know, it's starting to feel good to them. Aquarius, King of Wands, right? They got their eye on you. You know, they're still committed to the plans that you may have built together. Pisces, the Fool card. So Pisces, you know, you can't always have a plan. You just got to go for it and see where it takes you. You know, something that is, you know, take that leap of faith. You know, this could be where the disbelief comes in. You know, wow, I just challenged myself and I'm happy as shit. I didn't know it was going to be this easy. You know, you could have a fresh start with another Pisces this week. I love you guys. Take care.